Okay, are we ready to get this day going? Brand new 2019. I got it backwards, 1920. We'll make it right here. Welcome to 2019, the first meeting and for the year. And Ms. Clerk, have we got anything additions to the agenda?
No, Mr. Chairman, no additions to the agenda.
To it. County Council, would you read into the record the closed session items?
Happy to do so.
Thank you.
Chairman and members of the board, there are 3 items on the agenda. However, there's been a request from your legal counsel, Carolyn Frank, to move the Constellation Brands litigation update to your next board meeting. And so I
Okay.
will not be reading that into the record. And there are 2 remaining items. The first is conference with your labor negotiators, and that's Adrian Caleb and Ken Caves, and the employee organization is all units. That's under Government Code Section 545.7.6. And the other is an existing litigation matter, Sarah Miller versus the County of Madera. The Superior Court case number is on the agenda, and this is under Government Code Section 54956.9, subsection D1. Thank you.
Okay, any public comment on our closed items? I don't see any, so we'll go to closed session a little bit and talk about it and go from there. we're not going to do nothing yet, so not quite ready.
Go ahead and visit.
Curtis, ask Richard Cagley to come in.
No.
Absolutely.
You're waiting on me? You're on the.
Victory!
Thank you. That's beautiful.
Make sure you're in the front so everybody can watch you. So.
Security, there's a man with an axe in the front row. If you can please escort him out, we'd appreciate that.
Watch him very closely.
You're now my official bodyguard.
Well, I'm waiting for Channel 30 called about 10 minutes ago and said they're a couple minutes late, so I was kind of waiting on that. Do we want to go out and have those pictures taken first? All the elected officials? Who's
Is
going to
our
take?
pit team available? Adrian, can we do that now? Okay.
Okay, all the elected officials, we're going to go outside and do it?
All the elected officials that are scheduled to be sworn in,
Right.
the public information team would like to take your picture for our promotion efforts.
So we'll go do that right now.
We were outside at the south entrance of the government center.
Okay? What if you're not going to be sworn in? You sit there. You sit here? No, you come. I hope that got your attention. Welcome, everybody, and we got a lot of empty seats, so we'd like to fill them up, so it's kind of gives the law, everybody standing up like that, so if you mingle down here and get in some of these seats, please, I'd appreciate it. Don't everybody jump at once. Don't everybody sit at once. Somewhere I got my glasses here. Thank you very much. Okay, County Councilors, anything to report out of closed session?
Chairman, there are no reportable actions from closed session.
Okay. Today, we're doing a lot of things, but we always do our invocation, our pledge of allegiance, and but we always open and close in memory of people, friends, relatives that pass away each meeting. And this time, it's been a little over 2 weeks since we had a meeting. It seems like we've got way too many people that's passed on. Annette Dowd, her husband, Chuck owns the Madera Tribune, and Chip Hopkins, I think Dave was going to talk about him. I got a bunch of stuff on him. He's one of our great members here. The guy I went to high school with, he was a year older than me, and Ernie Bender in the mountains. He passed away. They were actually on vacation in Hawaii, and it was a bummer. And then Richard Poitras, he was one of the old-time loggers up in the mountains. I mean, he was one tough guy. And then one of my best friends ever, Mary Lou Finley Lulu, passed away the day before Christmas, and she went to Sierra High School. And if you're ever going on Albury Road between North Fork and Albury, when you see that sign that says Lake Lulu, that was her dad, named the pond after her. And she was the head of the Golden Chain Theater group for probably 20, 25 years up there. And she There was a airline stewardess, and she wasn't even in there about a year, and she was so smart and personable that they made her the head trainer for stewardess for United Airlines for like 20, 30 years. And then another one just passed away 2 days after New Year's, Kenny Gaines, longtime North Fork contractor up in North Fork. And, and then the last one I just found today, unless there's more here, Alice Parker, right here from locally. And so, is any other board members? Yes?
Yeah,
Brett?
I had wanted to comment about Annette Dowd and Alice Parker. And Annette was just a wonderful woman. If you ever come into my office, you'll see a beautiful picture of a pomegranate that my mom and dad bought for me after some video I did. I don't remember what it was. But Annette Dowd took that picture, and it serves as where it hangs. It's the low-hanging fruit that we sometimes miss that you want to always go out and get, and it's still just as beautiful. And so I think of Annette on a regular basis when I look at that picture, and she'll be sorely missed. And my thoughts and prayers go out to Chuck during this time of loss. And Alice Parker, a very close family friend of ours. Her and her husband were in Madera for years and years, and Debbie Neely, her son-in-law Van, that were here locally, and Alice Parker and her husband, they started Foster and Parker Insurance, and she was just a wonderful, wonderful woman, 93 years old, and every single one of those years she gave back to Madera, and she'll be sorely missed. And my thoughts and prayers go out to her family in this time of passing.
Dave, did you want to talk about Chip?
I've known Chip Hopkins for 20 years, maybe a little longer than that, 25 years. Chip Hopkins worked for the juvenile hall. He was one of the officers there, and he considered his job a ministry. He was very effective at it. He cared about young people and people in general. Chip was always very frank, and you never had to guess where he stood with Chip. If he wanted to say something to you, he'd say it. And he was really a man of humor, self-deprecating many times, and just a great person, a husband, a father, a grandfather, a friend to the community. I attended church with Chip for the last 14 years, and we had many great conversations. One of the last things he said to me when he gave me a big hug Sunday morning, I noticed he didn't look right. He didn't look like he felt very good, and he hadn't for a while. He had a bad heart. But he hugged me and he said, "Thanks for paving my road." I said, "You're welcome, old bud." He said, "Well, you did it right." And it was our people that did that, and he just was always good about lifting you up and lifting others up around him. I think if we had one thing to do in our lives, it'd be like Chip Hopkins, lift everybody up around us. Chip was like that. So God bless him and his family. My heart goes out to them.
Thank you. And so we're open and closing those beautiful people that's done so much for our community here in Madera County. Okay, invocation will be by Pastor David Daughtery from the Harvest Community Church. And I'm going to ask Jack Porter if he'll do the lead Pledge Allegiance. Thank you. Everybody please stand. No, we'll do that first. Yeah.
All right, we're all standing. That's good. Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's pray. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, amen. Father, thank you for another year to be alive, 2019. Thank you for the Madera County Board of Supervisors. Give them wisdom, direction. Keep them on the right path. Bless their families. Watch over all the families in Madera. Thank you for our elected officials. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make your path straight." We ask these things in Jesus' name, amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, David and Jack, very much. We're going to start, we got to swear everybody in first, and so we're going to do that first, and we're going to start with Becky Martinez. We're going to swear her in first, wherever she's at. Is she here? Oh, there you are. We're going to start with you.
But before we do that, there was there.
Do you want to do this?
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody, come on up. So all you know, she got reelected for probably the 25th time. So that makes her 75 when she started. And so everybody, you got to appreciate what this lady has done. 45 years of dedicated service to Madera County.
You were about 2 when you started for the county, or about 2, 3?
Brett and I are going to give her a plaque. She didn't know this was coming.
Wow.
There's no cruise that's taped to the back, so.
We got stickum tape back there, so she can't get away from it. She's still going to be doing working for us for a long time. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Now you want to let your son
Swear me in.
swear you in? Okay.
It's gonna be the first time he'll get to swear.
Where's the portable? Where's the portable? We got the portable, Mac? Find it? Working? Okay.
Take it off of Tom mode so it works.
Is it working? Says on.
This one works.
I do hereby swear this is going to work before we get done.
Test, test. Here, this one. Chairman, this one works.
I think your bow tie's interfering with that.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. There you go, buddy.
Raise your right hand. I
I, Rebecca Martinez,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California.
and the Constitution of the State of California,
I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully
that I will well and faithfully
discharge
discharge
the duties upon I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter. Thank you, my son.
You want to set it there so you'll have it. Supervisor Brett Frazier is going to be sworn in by his beautiful wife, Elizabeth, and their brand-new baby and their other baby.
I hand it to him. I hand it to Elizabeth.
Aunt Janet's got baby Brooks asleep, so he's not going to be up here. Emma, can you hold it for a moment?
Okay. Please raise your right hand.
I do.
State your name.
I, Brett Frazier,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Mr. Sheriff Jay Varney will be sworn in by his son, Travis Varney, who works for the Madera City Police Department. So please come up.
All right, repeat after me, please. Soon to be Sheriff Jay Varney. I, Jay Varney, do solemnly swear
I, Jay Varney, do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of California
the Constitution of the State of California,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States
that I bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
the Constitution of the State of California,
that I will take this obligation freely without any mental reservation
that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter.
and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations.
Okay. Sally Marino and her husband Sergio is going to swear her in. Here they come from the other side. Come on up. Make sure you tell him what to do. He's lost now.
Never have.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I, Sally Moreno,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I'll support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance to
and allegiance to
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I'm about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
And if you hold it. Wow.
Just swearing people in. There's no, it's just. Okay, the next one, Becky's going to swear in myself. I'm Tom Wheeler. And David Rogers, our assessor Gary Savanda, our auditor controller Todd Miller, and our treasurer tax collector, what's it? Oh, Pat Kennedy? Pat, did you beat your daughter? I did. Oh, Tracy Kennedy. Say it real slow, so I don't get mixed up. I don't want to go there.
Congratulations. Raise your right hand, please. Immediately after the word I, you can state your name, please. I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
That I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
foreign
foreign and domestic,
and locally,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
that I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
and without any mental reservation
and without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
that I will well and faithfully discharge
that I will well and faithfully discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Life of God, my beautiful wife, 42 years. And I'm honored that all my staff came down here to see this. Thank you.
I can top that barely. My beautiful wife of 50 years is here. Teresa, would you please stand up? And my employees are diligently working upstairs.
Well, thank you all for coming. I can't believe everybody turned out for my 8th swearing in. That's amazing. Thank you, Moki and Jack and Leslie and the Frasers. No. And I'd like to thank my dad, who I've known, well, all of them, 50-some years. Pat Kennedy. Patrick, can you stand up, please? And the bravest man in the world, my husband, John Smith.
Yes.
And since we only have a few employees anymore, they can fit all in the minivan, they all came on down. So anyway, thank you.
I'd like to thank, with great humility, the constituents, voters of District 2 who had confidence in me for a third term. I want to thank my wife especially. She's not here. She's a teacher, so she's teaching first grade today. But, you know, when you see these families coming up and involved in the swearing in, it is very much a family thing because it affects them. Those of you that have been in politics realize that more than others. But I'm grateful for my entire family, my sons, my daughters, my wife, my grandchildren. And I'm thankful for this community. And it's just been a great time of serving you. And I hope I do an even better job in the near future. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
So I too would like to thank all the people in the community who have voted for me and supported me throughout my career, which that you've heard now that it has been long. It's actually been so long, I'm going to give you a little bit of trivia. So I've been employed by the County of Madera for 45 years, and together, all 5 board members have served 40. In addition to that, whenever I become chair of the Board of Supervisors, I want to say #MeToo, and I expect to see you all in a dress. Where are you? Since you're all wearing a bow tie today, but thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you to my family for always being so patient with my hours and my +1 back there. Thank you very much.
What was the first president you presided over the election for? Jay, did you want to say something? Wherever Jay is? Jay, do you want to say something? Sally?
I just want to thank everybody for turning out, no matter who you turned out for today. Certainly we have some interesting changes in some areas of the county government and some continuing good work in others, and really appreciate my staff and any of the folks who came out to watch Travis swear me in. That was more important than getting reelected, frankly, having him do that. So thank you.
I'd just like to thank the voters and let you know that I'm ready to get to work and I'm not going to let you down. Thanks so much.
I saved the best to the last. So first of all, I haven't got 40 or 50 years of marriage, but I got a fiance right here, Leslie Stevens, if you'd stand up, please. And my beautiful son trying to take a picture. Wade, would you stand up? And then I put a team together 13 years ago now, because it's my 12th year, and we still meet almost weekly to plan out what I should be doing and what kind of decisions I make and what could happen to help betterment of Madera County. And I'd like my team members to stand up, please. I got a bunch of them here, so if you guys, girls, stand up. Steve, you too. You too. You're part of it. So I appreciate you coming down, taking off work and coming here. We're all family. We're all family in here, and we're a team. And it means so much to me to work together to make Madera County the best place to work, live, and play. So thank you guys all, and we're going to kill them this year, aren't we? With our new chairman president coming up. Almost. He ain't there yet. I'm still here, so thank you. Wow, we got all the big hump here. So now we get my notes. Before we take our break, we're going to reorganize. And I'm looking for a motion or nomination to appoint the new chairman for 2019.
Chairman, might I ask, Chairman, the clerk of the board to read in the item for the record?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, would you mind reading that in?
Board of Supervisors, 5A. And let me get my mic going here.
There it is.
Discussion and consideration of approval of the reorganization of the chairman and chairman pro tem for the 2019 calendar year and related presentations. Nominations for chairman, nominations for chairman pro tem, passing of the gavel, and the chairman's welcome speech.
I move to appoint Supervisor Brett Frazier to the office of chairman.
I'll second it.
Okay, any questions from the public? It's okay with you? Good. Roll call, please.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
I have a conflict, just kidding. Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay. Thank you. Chairman Pro Tem.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint David Rogers as the Chairman Pro Tem.
Second. Okay. Well, any public comment on that? Nobody shall going to object?
Oh, yeah,
Sure
we got
is,
some,
buddy.
we got some here.
Roll call, please.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Okay. Are we going to do the break first or do our speech first?
We'll do the speech first.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your confidence in me. I was nervous coming in here today, but when I saw the bow ties, I thought it'd be kind of hard for you guys to not get behind me. But I want to, right now we'll do the passing of the gavel, and it's my honor to present this to my good friend Tom Wheeler, who's been the chairman now 3 times, 3 terms, 3 times. I'm now going into my 2nd term, and it'll be 1 time. It's weird.
I pull strings.
But Tom, you've done a wonderful job. You've gotten us through so many difficult issues and situations, and I've learned so much from you over the last year of what to do, some things of what not to do. But
It's probably true.
Tom, I love you. You're like family to me, and I just appreciate you always being here for me and for everybody in the county of Madera. So I would like to give this to you. And Tom, if you'd like to say a few words.
I would love to.
Okay, your time is up.
You know, I thought about this a lot. It's like he said, it's my 3rd term as chairman, and it just happened to be that way when the way people either moved on to the state or didn't run the last time or got beat or whatever. So it kind of skips if you haven't been on the board for a year to be able to be a vice chair or chairman. So that's how it's just lucked out that I've got to do it once every 4 years. So I take it as an honor, though. I really do. So, well, it's 2019 now, and it's a whole new year, and it's bringing a whole bunch of new people. My chief of staff, Brittany Dyer, has moved up in the world. I knew she would because she was so bright, just like Maria Miranda, who was before her. So she now is the California State Director of American Forests, and she's here someplace. Brittany, how are you back there? And in 5 years, she's done so much for Madera County, I can't even tell you, and for myself. My new, I'd like everybody to welcome my new Chief of Staff, Shahela Lynn Holly Young, or Shay for me, because I never say the words right. So Shay, welcome to Madera County. She started last Wednesday. Yeah, she started last Wednesday, and she's already jumped right in and getting things going. So what a year 2018 was. I want to thank my team. And my team is everybody. My re-election committee, the great team of our chief of staffs that we have here at Madera County, all the Madera County department heads. They're part of our team. The 125th anniversary committee team, and the public information team, the PIT, and all my fellow elected officials. And most importantly to me is the larger Madera County team, the countless employees who make everything possible and make us look good. So all your employees that are in here still are listening to it online, thank you, because we are a team, and that's what makes Madera so great. The Madera County Board of Supervisors is nothing without you, all of you. In fact, we are only as good as the people who make up our team, and that's all of you. I'm so grateful that I had the opportunity to be the chairman for the 3 times and for the 125th anniversary of Madera County. We say it's the anniversary, birthday, whatever. We've been in existence now for 125 years, and it was our goal when we started 2018 to make this anniversary a great one. And the PIT team and the anniversary team did one great job. I created the 125th Anniversary Committee, and with their leadership, as well as much support from each of the departments and all of our partners who contributed to it. So every penny we spent on our 125th anniversary, it was all donated money. Nothing came out of our taxes. And we were able to, here's some of the things we were able to do. We built a really fancy parade float, which we drove into 6 different parades in Madera County. And we got a lot of attention from it, including the Best Float Award in one of the parades. And I got stuff to say about that too. We created our new logo right here. And if any of you haven't got one of these pins, I got a bunch in my pickup. If I get somebody out and get them, I'll hand you out some. Oh, we got them right there. Thank you. So if you guys want one of our 125th pins, it only happens now. The birthday's over. So load them up and take them with you. We created that new logo. Then we hosted a coloring contest for the kids and adults, and they're still pasted on the wall out there. All the schools participated. We held an honorary meeting at the old Madera County Courthouse Museum, and I thought that was so cool. And the way if you haven't joined the Courthouse Museum Association, you ought to do it. It's very reasonable, and it keeps it going. And if you guys haven't seen it, you ought to go over and look at it. It is excellent. And then also, I decided last year that I think that after we didn't get Measure L passed, we realized that the public didn't know what we do and how we do it and when we do it. So we passed a new ordinance last year to take our first ever on-the-road board meetings. And they were such a success. We did 3 in the first part of the year, and then we did 3 later because we tried different times and seeing what was the best way to do it. We did it in Chowchilla, Ranchos, and Oakhurst. And it's the first time in Madera County history this happened. We participated in numerous community functions and events, including a special ceremony at the cemetery with Bill Coate and his students, and Clay Dalton the 4th, I guess, down, because his great-great-grandpa was on this board when Madera County was created. So that was a great event. And we were up, also, I don't know if you come in our lobby when we had our big Christmas tree there, we had the money enough to buy that brand new Christmas tree, because the other one, after, all the needles fell off after 10 years, it looked pretty ugly. So we got a brand new one, and after that many years, it was about time we got a new one. So we hosted the anniversary gala at the partnership with Madera County Historical Society, and much more that I probably forgot half of it. I would, again, like to thank all our partners, the sponsors, and employees who made this so possible, the 125th birthday. I want to thank the Madera County Historical Society and all the sponsors. And I just don't know all of them, and I don't want to miss anybody, so all the sponsors that participated, I just want everybody to know we didn't use no public funds on that. The 125th Anniversary Committee and our float participants and driver, rain or shine, Jonathan De Silva, Melissa's son, where Melissa's at, he drove his truck and that trailer to every parade on his time and our time and what have you. So I want to thank all the team members and sponsors who worked so hard to make that year-long celebration a success. I really want to thank the voters of District 5 for re-electing me for my 4th term. I thought it was the most ever in District 5 history, but between Rhonda and Glenna, they looked it up, and I got the list of all the past supervisors here somewhere. Oh, no. Oh, here it is. That's all our supervisors. The pictures are out there, too. And George Teepard, who lived, I'm sure is the same Teepard I got to research that, in Northport. He served 16 years also. When this term's over, I'll be on there for 16 years. Looking back over the past 12 years, especially this last year, we can all be very proud of the many accomplishments we did as a team. Just to name a few together, we have created a PIT team which gained us statewide recognition for innovation this year, a CSAC, revised a number of our restrictive ordinances which had been in place since before I was elected, reorganized several departments to make them more efficient. We focused on public relations and community outreach to emphasize that we're here to help you, not hinder you. improved working conditions for our employees. We're saving money we're doing that while providing competitive pay and improved benefits and preventing the loss of our hardworking, dedicated staff to our neighboring counties. We used to be the training ground for our neighboring counties. Now they come to us. And just like Shay, we got her from Fresno County. So there's a whole bunch in here that's done that. That's very important to us. We continue to build and plan new improved infrastructure for the Sheriff's Office. This year, the Fire Protection Services, Social Services, Animal Services, and much more. Signed a new long-term contract with Red Rock and Emadco, stabilizing costs for garbage pickup and improving our dump facilities. We promoted a collaborative working relationship between the county and the cities of Madera and Chowchilla, which we've never had. We've always, and I was chairman the first time, Gary Sabonda was the mayor. I called him the first week I was elected. I said, Gary, how will we get together and see if we can get some good things going for the cities and the counties to make Madera County a better place to work, live, and play? And we started it then, and this last year we've really stepped at the plate with Brett, my VP, Andy Medallion. I think he was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here. Right here. Yeah, thank you, Andy and Will. We met and talked and hashed. And one time we come up with a plan for the county and the city. And he gave it to his administration. We gave it to our administration. They said, well, we can't do this. And we looked at, he said he looked at theirs. We looked at ours and said, we're the boss. Do it. And that's what we did. And we're gaining like that every day. But we did it without all the hustle and fighting and infighting with our two administrations, and it just worked out really good. And it benefits Madera County, everybody, and the cities. I don't want, when I say Madera County, I mean everybody, Chowchilla City and Madera City. We approved and assisted development of the 3 new communities in Rio Mesa, making Madera County one of the fastest growing counties in the state. We held regular meetings with tribal representatives to develop a mutual agreeable MOU, which we're still working on. We created our new pavement management system to help the Public Works Department provide better road maintenance for all of our roads, 1,700 miles of them. Reorganized the Community and Economic Development Department to streamline the permitting process and decrease the red tape, making it faster and easier for you to develop your private property. We're one of the 5 counties in the state chosen to pioneer the new voting system for the Voters' Choice Act. Thank you, Becky, for bringing that to us. If she's still in here, for doing that. And I think we had the biggest turnout we ever had for our vote this year, and I think it's going to just grow bigger from that. We expanded and recently developed our water and natural resources departments to address critical issues, including upper and lower watershed concerns. We secured a $10 million soft and hard dollars to address tree mortality concerns in eastern Madera County. We continued the planning necessary to create the upcoming granite monuments welcoming visitors to Madera County to promote tourism as part of our ongoing effort to boost economic growth, which is the most important thing we got to think about in Madera County. And finally, we now have a stable budget with a healthy reserve. Our property tax assessed values have grown by at least 3% annually due to the more diversified tax base, helped by the strong residential construction in the Rio Mesa area, more commercial and industrial activity, as well as growth in the agricultural sector, making Madera County the best place to work, play, and live. But there's still more to look forward to. We need to create a special district fund, emergency medical facilities, as well as a fuel and fire district to fund more prevention and protection from the growing threat of massive forest fires and medical facilities in eastern Madera County especially. We have over 140 self-funded special districts that need our help to stabilize their financial statements. We need new facilities for the homeless and for the animal control, and we're working on that. We need a satellite government center and courthouse in Oakers, since our courthouse now in eastern Madera County has been shut down. We need to continue exploring creative incentives to attract a wider variety of business to our county for more jobs. And we need to continue to improve the safety, prevention, and protection that includes more fire stations, a better recruitment effort to attract additional paid call firefighters. What good are our fire stations if we don't have bodies to fill them? We need to continue to work with our nonprofit partners and RCDs to create more escape routes for our communities, to continue to support the biomass to energy project and other fuel reduction efforts in our forests. In closing, I truly enjoy representing the people of District 5 and really am honored to be able to be your supervisor and for Madera County. My goal has always been to look ahead, not to rest on past accomplishments, and rely on the way things used to be. That's what they used to tell me when I first got elected, get used to it. That's where we've always done it. I've never been that way. Even the old part I am, I just like to keep moving forward. New things is always better. I've seen a lot in my many years in Madera County, my 60th anniversary in Madera County. And most important thing I've learned is that growth is the engine for our economy. There are more people every day and less land. So it's our responsibility to do it right the first time by planning as well as we can for the future for our children and our grandchildren. Instead of going through and thanking people individually like I have in the past, which takes a lot of time, in the spirit of the team, I would like to thank each and every individual moving part that makes us who we are. I'm so very proud to be just one person of that team that makes Madera County not only a great place to work, play, and live, but the best big little county in the state of California. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand this gavel over to my partner here, and you want to say your...
Yes, I do. And since you listed everything we did, the good news is I could take out about 3 pages of my speech, so there we go. So before I start, I wanted to, scanning the audience, I saw some people here that should be introduced. And Mayor Medellin from the city of Madera, close friend of mine, Andy, thank you for being here. I saw Maria Knobloch a little bit earlier. I don't know if, right over here, board member for Golden Valley Unified School District, very important to me since all my kids go there. So thank you for the hard work you're doing to make it a great place out there. We have Carl Jansen from Madera Irrigation District, board member. We also have 2 members of the State Center Community College Board, Bobby Kahn and Richard Caglia. Here we have Arnaldo Rodriguez, our new city administrator in the city of Madera. Thank you for being here and choosing Madera again. We might be losing Chief Dino Lawson and Chief David Revere from City of Chowchilla and City of Madera. Thank you for being here. Todd Lyle, who is the superintendent for Madera Unified School District. Don't talk to him about what I was like in high school because he used to be my coach and he knows me a little too well to allow me to continue to be a politician. Just kidding, I'm not that bad. Tom Hurst, my planning commissioner for District 1 is here. Patricia Taylor, our executive director of Madera County Transportation Commission is here. I saw the VFW. Thank you very much for being here today and for your service to our country and for everything that you do for the community. Christina Beckstead, the executive director of the Farm Bureau, is here. Thank you for your continued partnership. And former Fresno City Planning Commissioner Jan Schmidt is in the back holding baby Brooks. So my aunt.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you all for being here, and good morning and welcome to the first meeting of the Madera County Board of Supervisors for 2019. It is one of my great honors to not stand before you, to sit before you today as the incoming chairman. First and foremost, I want to thank my beautiful wife, Elizabeth, for swearing me in today. I want you all to know that if anyone's going to hold me accountable to something I swear to, it's Elizabeth here. Elizabeth, you make me a better person every day. You afford me the ability to live out this dream of serving the people of Madera County. Whenever I'm faced with hard decisions, I always seek her advice, and I can tell you if there's any of my decisions that you don't agree with, it's probably the one time I didn't go to her to ask her what I should do. But I promise you that who she is, and she works tirelessly as a nurse. She makes sure our kids want for nothing. Yesterday, I was like, I don't know if I have a clean white shirt, and there in my, there was 2 freshly dry cleaned shirts. She just does everything to make this easy for me. And at the end of the day, you make me know, make sure that I know who I am and what's important. So I thank you for always being there for me and our family. You make all this craziness easy. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you. I also want to thank my. These are things that are hard for me to get through. I also want to thank my children. White and Hallie are on their way back from Disneyland right now. Apparently, that's more fun than this. I don't get it. But Emma and baby Brooks, as you've seen, I just want to thank you all for allowing me to be away from you. But I just want you to know that every decision I make up here is with you and your futures in mind. I'm proud of the individuals you are and hope to pave a way to see the amazing people you'll become. I love you, Emma. Love you, Brooks. I know you don't understand me right now. Next, I'd like to thank my parents who are here. You've believed in me from day one. Dad, you always said that I could be president if I put my mind to it. I will pass. I mean, it would be huge if I did, but I'm going to pass. Mom, your motto of how to govern in a dignified manner is one that I strive for every day in this position. And I can but hope that when this is all over that I'm held in as high of a regard as you are. And you notice I didn't say hold in as high of a regard as you were, because everybody still holds you way up here. Dad, you showed me that the path to success lies in honesty and how you treat others. I may not have always understood the honesty part in high school. You helped me learn it a lot. But I think of your words daily in my daily dealings. And I have also saved and used some of your best material with Wyatt as he is now turning 12. So thank you. To my in-laws, Gray and Nancy Kent, words cannot express how much your love and support of our family means to me. The amount of times you've taken last-minute drop-offs and pickups and feeding us dinner, the occasional or not-so-occasional margarita, have made all of this possible, and I thank you so much and love you. To the rest of my family and friends here today, I thank you for your tireless support of myself, Elizabeth, Wyatt, Hallie, Emma, and Brooks. I now know that it truly does take a village to raise a child, especially when you have a village of children living under one roof. And to someone that's very important to me from my family, that I've been able to learn how to be steadfast in my positions, and is my grandma, Marion Herberger, who's here today. She's 94 years young. Any of the dance moves you've seen with me in videos were from this lovely lady right here, dancing with her growing up, and love you and glad you're here. Aunt Janice, you've always shown just an amazing role for me. You've always, I won't say my favorite aunt, that's between us. I don't want anybody else to hear that, but I love you.
Now,
yeah, thank you for being here. I want to especially thank Melissa Da Silva, there she is, for everything you do for me and the entire Madera County, the residents, the team here. Your friendship and guidance through opportunities, not problems, both big and small, personal and professional, is something that I truly cherish. I could probably do this job without you. I just don't think I would want to. So thank you. I also want to thank the constituents of my district for your confidence in me as your representative for the next 4 years. It's an honor and a pleasure to represent you. I also want to thank our past chairman, Tom Wheeler, and members of our board here. You're wonderful friends and colleagues. You challenge me. I hope I do the same. We don't always agree on everything, but I think that's why people have elected us, is to create that discourse and really get the best at the end of the day. Compromise is not a bad word. It shouldn't be a bad word. It never was until recently. And I think this board serves as a model of how healthy discourse and compromise can actually accomplish things for what people really truly need, which is forward progress. So thank you for all of your hard work. With the record-breaking numbers that came out to the polls in 2018, this board was steadfast in our reelection process, and I'm proud of all of you for your hard work to do that. Many of our elected officials were also successful in their reelection bids and are now able to continue their dedicated work here at the county. As the husband, son, grandson, son-in-law, and nephew of strong, amazing women, I've had so many in my life. I'm so proud that we have our first female district attorney here in Madera County. She's already working. I saw she had to go out, so I know that will be her for years to come. So congratulations to her and her family. Eric, your job is not an easy one, but I'm amazed every day at how you've managed to make a government agency the model of innovation and a desired place to work.
Yes.
Thank you for your leadership and, more importantly, your friendship. I also want to thank the most intelligent, capable, and passionate group of department heads that I've ever come across. You all truly embody the culture of excellence that we're trying to create here. And thank you for your tireless dedication to the people of Madera County. And Dexter, thanks for telling everyone to wear the bow ties. Appreciate it. So I'm not going to talk about the individual things that we need to accomplish or that we have accomplished. I got rid of some of those pages. But just kind of where we want to go and how we want to get there over this next year. So as chairman, there are some things I'd like to accomplish. Some of them will admittedly be easier than others. This is the low-hanging fruit we talked about earlier, right, Melissa? But some of the things that you'll hear me say today will probably be things that you'll hear me say throughout this next year, and a lot of them you've probably heard me say many times before. So a key theme that I'd like to touch on is that we have so many opportunities in front of us. But we can't get bogged down in the things that are out of our control. We have a unique opportunity to do things the right way and actually create this culture of excellence that we talk about, regardless of outside forces. Does this mean that we have nothing to worry about? No, absolutely not. We'll have problems arise on many fronts, whether they be financial, political, or cultural. And so by this, I mean that despite the many problems that we'll face, we as an organization can, will, and do weather these storms together by making sound decisions and instituting the best actions based on those decisions. We are now and will continue to be a forward-facing, forward-moving organization, always scanning the horizon for what's to come. Our board is made up of very strong leaders willing to make tough decisions and face forward. But our real strength lies in our organization. It comes from those people who play out the decisions that are made up here. Those women and men who have dedicated their lives to public service and come to work every day to provide the best service to our constituents. These are the true lifeblood of our organization, and I firmly believe that every issue or opportunity that's facing us today, without adding a single extra person, we can solve together and as a group. And to our men and women dedicated to protecting us, of the Sheriff's Department, the Fire Department, our county jail, probation, and district attorney's office, who put their very lives on the line every day to make sure that our streets are safe for my family and yours, I want to personally thank you. All of these people in our organization, these are the faces of Madera County, and I'm proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with them as a team, a colleague and as friends. It is through their talents and dedication that the decisions made up here can be carried out so successfully. So why do I think we have so many opportunities in front of us? Because these hardworking women and men can make the impossible possible. I've watched them do it for the last 4 years, and I even try and take credit for some of it sometimes, but they're the ones that are out there doing it, and they truly do make the impossible possible. So we are facing difficult challenges in this political environment, but instead of burying our heads in the sand and worrying about what we cannot control, I believe we should focus on what we can do for ourselves versus focusing on what is being done to us. We as an organization and a county need to look at what we do and focus on doing that well. As a private citizen, I never like to hear, we just don't have the money. As a fiscal conservative, I appreciated hearing that money wasn't just being thrown around. But as chairman, I want to get away from the mantra of we don't have enough money. I think if Tom can get rid of that's the way we've always done it, then I think I deserve to be able to get rid of that mantra.
That's a good point.
We as an organization are here to be responsive to the needs of those we serve, not to give them excuses as to why we can't do it. If we can't do it now, we need to provide the planning to be able to do it in the future. I think it's also important in this that we have to be honest with people. Thank you, Dad. If what is being asked does not benefit the county as a whole in some way, then we need to be forthright and deliberate with our decisions, and we need to properly manage their expectations about what the priority is and where we're going. We have enough money to do anything we want. This is a large organization with a lot of resources. We have enough money to do anything we want, but we don't have enough money to do everything we want. So we need to prioritize and execute those things that benefit all of the people of Madera County. The first 4 years serving on this board have been some of the best years of my life, both personally and professionally. Elizabeth and I said I do. We watched Wyatt and Hallie grow, and we had 2 new beautiful children, Emma and Brooks. And we moved into a beautiful home that we paid full price for. I've got paperwork if anyone wants to. Professionally, I've met some of the most creative, exciting, and wonderful people who are dedicated to making Madera County the jewel of the valley that we've all known it to be. I know what is at stake, and I am proud to be entrusted with a part of the decision-making for how our county looks now and in the future. I humbly accept the charge now and in the future because of the smiling faces when I get home every day. I know that if I can be a part of making this county the best place for them to grow up, it will be the best place for every other child as well. To that point, I want to challenge my colleagues up here on the dais to continue to make policy decisions that positively affect our futures. I challenge them to seek economic development and job creation within our county, to continually look for ways to promote Madera County as a viable economic area where companies both large and small, schools, and residents can thrive no matter what economy state it is in. Even though we're a county in California, we still have to move past that.
We can be a step ahead.
We as a governing body, an organization, and as a county need to tap into our considerable resources and provide the future we want for ourselves. It's not often that we as Maderans are just given things. And I believe that we should not just take what is given, just what's left. Our economy will grow alongside a more engaged and informed citizenry as it always begun. And so do I say to you all once again, we have an opportunity to do things right. Let's take it.
Thank you, Brett. We're going to change chairs now, but we're going to have a break and go out and have some goodies outside and enjoy about 5 or 10 minutes here. Yep.
Yeah. Are we ready? Rhonda?
Get out of my seat, son.
Let me know when you're ready. Okay, you're on.
All right. All right. I think we'll, only 4 minutes late, not bad for the first time. So we'll reconvene our session after our break. Thank you all for staying and enjoying. There's still some more coffee and cookies. I grabbed another cookie on my way in. Grab some more on your way out so I don't grab all of them with me. Wow, coming back after the break, and we'll start with item 6, public comment.
Public comment. The first 15 minutes of each regular session are set aside for members of the public to address the board on any matter under the jurisdiction of the board but not appearing on the agenda. The board will not take action on any items presented under public comment. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Anyone addressing the board is asked to print their name clearly on the speaker sheet at the podium and state their name and county of residence for the record.
Director of Water and Natural Resources. I'm coming to you today to introduce our new Deputy Director of Water and Natural Resources. I know some of you have met her before. Her name's Jeannie Haben. She was a consultant before within Madera County. She worked for resource conservation districts and with watershed management and stakeholder engagement, and we're very lucky to have her. She has a few words she'd like to say.
Good morning, new chairman as of today, and supervisors. As she said, I'm Jeannie Hoppen. I'm a resident of Madera County and up in the foothills up in Coarsegold. I'm sure you're excited about the new year. I am, because I'm now a county employee. I've worked with the county for almost 2 decades doing water and natural resource type things with the resource conservation districts, the integrated regional water management plan, working with the county, the state, federal government also on many grants and things like that in this area. So it's kind of exciting for me now to, and I want to thank you all, it's kind of exciting for me now to not just work with the county, but work for the county. So hopefully we can get a lot done. I'm excited. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome aboard.
Good afternoon. I'm Patrick Fitzgerald, County Librarian, and I just wanted to introduce the Children's Service Coordinator for a quick announcement.
Hi, my name is Eva Herrera, Children's Service Coordinator.
Due to the renovation at the library, we will be having story time in the little room back here. And one, we would like to thank you for letting us use the room. Two, we would like to invite you guys and everybody here who would like to join us for story time. And I hope to see you guys. Wednesdays at 11, sorry.
Wednesdays at 11? I think that's
Yeah,
right
starting
after
this
the.
week.
It's right after the agenda review. Maybe I'll come in and read a book or two.
Yeah, I think it's right after our
Sounds
nap
good.
time.
Thank you.
We got milk and cookies out there. We'll do story time. Are there any other members of the public wishing to come forward and make public comment? If not, I'll call close to public comment. Item 7, consent calendar. Are there any items that any board member would like to pull for further review?
I'll second it.
All right. Any public comment? Seeing none. Roll call.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez? Supervisor Wheeler? Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
It's not working.
I didn't have
Well,
it
it
up.
hasn't got I went too quickly to 7. There we go. Who made the motion?
Me? No, still not working.
Try it again, Dave. All right. Item 8, we're going to change around how these go. We're going to take 8B first.
8B?
Yes.
Eight B, County Administration Department, General Services Division. Presentation by Eagle Shield Pest Control regarding bird control exclusion services and discussion and direction to staff for services for the Madera County Government Center and parking garage.
Did you? That's not just someone rubbing a microphone.
That was a pigeon.
Yeah, actually, this is me DJing a party. Marie, actually, did you want C to go first?
City would be, if we can do the Downtown Association first, that'd be great.
Yeah, let's
And
do
then-
that.
Then you guys can just stay. We'll
Okay.
jump on.
We're going to go with 8C first.
Okay.
8C?
8C.
8C, County Administration
You
Department.
guys can just stay up there.
General Services Division. Presentation by the Madera Downtown Association regarding falcon-based bird abatement and discussion and direction to staff to contribute to falcon-based abatement services.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Marie Miranda with General Services. We're before you today with a request from the Madera Downtown Association for the county to contribute to the association's contract with Integrated Avian Solutions for falcon-based crow abatement. The association is asking the county to match its investment of $10,000 and has asked the city and secured the city contribution for the same amount. And with that, I'll turn it over to Steve Copeland with the association to provide more details.
Good afternoon, supervisors, and Happy New Year to you all, and congratulations to you all. So,
Thank you.
my name is Steve Copeland. I live at 1105 Valley Way here in Madera, and I'm here today to probably represent the Madera Downtown Association. As you all know, Madera has been plagued by crows for many years, and back in, the end of October, 1st of November, we heard of a falcon program through Integrated Avian Solutions. We had a kind of a demo that was done. It was quite impressive, and you'll see part of it here. But the Downtown Association has pledged $10,000 towards the the harassing of the crows. The total contract was for $30,000. So the Madera Downtown Association went in for $10,000. Last week, the City Council approved to a matching $10,000, and we're here today to request support and help from the county in this program. I'd also like to introduce Mr. Adam BOS. He is the falconer and representative of Integrated Avian Solutions, and he can answer all your questions and probably assist in putting on this PowerPoint. I was told just to touch the screen.
See if this is
And just so, this isn't part of the next item, this isn't part of 8B. This is for the larger downtown area. The next one is just regarding the parking garage,
Right.
correct?
Separate.
Jay, we need to get back to the desktop.
All these experts will get it going here.
No, it's this one, but it was missing, so maybe we can just start. And now, is this mirrored on your computer?
Not yet, it
Yeah,
will be.
It will be.
There it is. That's a lot of falcons.
Should have my 10-year-old grandson here.
Yeah. Make a noise.
Did you put that in the right way the first time? I thought they have 3 sides, don't they? I'm sorry, everybody, this wouldn't have happened under Tom Wheeler's watch.
We practiced it.
It's not just you guys.
That's Jay doing that.
All right, can you see the?
Yes, no, there it is.
Well, thank you. Yeah, so my name's Adam Boz, and thanks so much for having me. I'm a falconer, and so my line of work is helping communities resolve substantial bird problems. No, check. Okay, there we go. So, as Steve mentioned, we actually initiated a 1-month falconry pilot at the beginning of December. So what I'm going to do is just kind of give you a brief overview of the problem and the solution that we have implemented, and we're partially underway. It's going really well. So my company is called Integrated Avian Solutions. Like I mentioned, we specialize in falconry-based solution for bird problems, and this is a summary of the work we've done here in December. So just an overview of the problem. As you all know, there are thousands, if not tens of thousands, of American crows that pour into Madeira in the winter months. It's really October through April phenomenon. And they're here because they sleep, and as a consequence, they poop all over your sidewalks and your cars and your restaurant tables, and that's both unsightly and unhygienic. A lot of local businesses have complained, and so we were approached by the Madeira Downtown Association to help, because we have another program underway in Hanford that is going remarkably well as Portland, Oregon, and soon to be Fresno. So conventional harassment techniques, which include spikes and owl decoys and speakers, and you're probably familiar with the loudspeakers that are installed on the building, they just don't work. Unfortunately, crows are very smart, and they can acclimate to those deterrents, and they ultimately learn very quickly that it's not a permanent solution and not a real threat. So our solution is that we bring in highly trained hawks and falcons, and there is simply nothing more compelling to a crow or a pigeon than the presence of their natural predator. They have hundreds of thousands of years of evolution training them to be afraid of these birds, and so it's a solution that yields enduring results. They can't acclimate to the presence of a hawk. And so we have licensed, experienced falconers that parade through your downtown in the evenings, and we fly our birds and we scare away the crows. So this is a video here. I don't know if it sounds like you can hear the sound. So this was actually the demo. So this was the very first night that I showed up. This was in late November at some point. Yeah. And so this is just as I'm taking my hawk out of the truck, and you'll just, if you bear with me, you can kind of observe the crow's reaction over the next minute or so. So my hawk is here. It has a light on it, so you can follow it.
Which one's your bird?
He's actually on the wire with the light. Excuse my candid banter here.
And so what you'll see is these crows are starting to announce his presence, and all the crows with an eye shot are going to come in to see what all the fuss is about. Just with him sitting right there, and then watch what happens. I'll use the laser pointer.
So you see, my bird is trained to a laser pointer, and so right now I'm shining the laser off screen to the left here, and there he saw the laser, and now he's going to fly to where I was shining it, which is right on the roof. There it is on that building. And so I just use that to very strategically move the crows in certain directions. So this is when it really gets good. Or bad, depending on how you look at it.
That is very cool. Adam, how long does it take to train him?
I'm always training him. And then I use this laser to make sure that the hawks associate the laser with the crow. The crow is associated with the laser somewhere else.
So you get a sense of flavor for it. So more or less, this is what it looks like, especially at the beginning stages. And about 20 or 30 minutes after doing this, the crows just vanish, and they find a safer place to spend the night where there's not a predator in their presence. It's already starting to quiet down there. So I'll go ahead and... so as I mentioned, falconry works because crows have an intrinsic fear of raptors. And I know obviously there's a presentation coming next from Eagle Shield, and I think their solution, which is tailored more maybe towards pigeons and to a certain extent crows, is to install deterrents, which are physical modifications of this building in the way of spikes and nets and wires. And I have no doubt that they do excellent work, but I do have to just share my experience, which is that those are ultimately a Band-Aid solution. As you can see here, these are pictures I took in Fresno of pigeons actually nesting and perching on spikes. Sometimes the spikes actually, they'll use them to hold the nests together. And then, of course, that has an ongoing maintenance cost of having to clean those spikes and repair them. Not to mention the substantial modification to the facade of the building, which, you know, for a public building can be pretty unsightly. It almost has this kind of medieval quality to it. And then just kind of to highlight the differences between our approach and more of a physical deterrent approach is that, you know, what we're doing is trying to address the root of the problem. We're actually trying to move the crows or the pigeons, as it may be, out of the area so that we don't just shift the problem from one building onto the next. I mean, you could cover this entire building in a huge net or a sky dome, and you would have no more crows and no more pigeons perching on your building, but where are they going to go? The next nearest building, maybe the courthouse or another county building or one of the hotels, and just generating a problem for them. So we prefer kind of a broader scale approach. And this is just, I'm taking a long time, but this is very quickly our results. So this is the project area here in Madera. The red line delineates the project boundary. As you can see, it encompasses this building as well as the courthouse and most of the business improvement district. And in the before picture, all of the green areas are where the crows were congregating. And afterwards, and actually this is even a little outdated, I was here last night and there was not a single crow anywhere in the project area, exactly 0 birds. So it really does work. I can say that immodestly. You know, and of course the benefits to your sidewalks are substantial. So that's kind of my spiel, and I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Thank you. They turned out because I kept doing that. I'm not chairman now, so I get bored over here. Last night you said there was no crows here.
Yes.
Are you doing this now, already putting the falcons out here?
Yep, we've been doing it for a month, yeah.
You've been doing it for a month?
Mm-hmm. And so when we started on December 3rd, and as I'm sure you know, there were, I would say, thousands of crows lining every horizontal ledge on this building, generating an impressive amount of poop. And it took
I've seen a lot of that shit around here.
You've seen it, yeah. You can say I can't, but yeah. So it took about 2 weeks. We struggled for a couple weeks, and then one night, basically, the crows got the message that this hawk is here to stay. And like I said, for the last week or two, there have been between 0 and maybe at most 75 to 100
And
crows.
how about the pigeons? Do they eat pigeons?
Yeah, they do eat pigeons.
So they still staying here, or they've been gone?
So that's a great question. Our program is really tailored towards crows. It has secondary effects on the pigeons for sure, but we would be happy to address the pigeon program or problem. It would look a little different. It would be more of a daytime solution as opposed to a nighttime. But that's certainly something that we would love to talk more about.
So you've had experience with doing pigeons?
Absolutely, yeah. That's about half of our
How
income.
long have you been doing this?
The company's been doing it for 15 years. I've only been working for them for about 3.5.
Okay.
So yeah.
And how many falcons you're using like here in Madeira?
So I have one hawk that I used here, and we have another falconer that has 2. I have a team of 5 birds. It's multiple species of falcons and hawks, and we use them depending on the nature of the problem. For instance, pigeons might require a different species of bird than a crow in order to chase them away.
I got you.
But,
Thank you.
yeah.
Sounds interesting. I'd rather shoot them, though, I tell you.
Yeah.
If we had to
Well,
shoot
if we were located on a farm 100 miles outside of town, that would be a viable solution.
Yeah, discharging in a business improvement district's not great, Tom.
And that actually was tried. I believe that the police force at one point in Madeira went
they had a
out
big shoot
and
one
issued a
time,
curfew and shot them, but again, a gun can only do so much. I mean, a falcon has a much more significant impact on the birds.
Good.
Supervisor Poitras?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had an opportunity, along with Supervisor Rodriguez, to, I think it was early December, we were invited out to see the demonstration, and I was really impressed. I mean, it was, to see the hawk out there. In fact, the hawk's name was like
Mars.
Mars, that's right.
he still
Has
is.
name. So Mars was very impressive. He had to be careful to swoop down too low because I understand he can be hit by a car or something. But but the crows were definitely disturbed and moving around. And within, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes, I mean, where we were, there were no crows. So it definitely works well. And I think that looking at the investment and looking at the results so far, and also, the investment that the Downtown Association, the City of Madeira has put in, I think it's definitely a worthwhile investment. Small, I mean, it's almost like, what do we have to lose? I think we have everything to gain. Thank you.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Like Supervisor to my right stated, we went out there, and the program does work, guys. We were only there for about an hour, and it did harass those birds, and they did fly off. How long they stay awake, I don't know, but for 2 bucks for that, how long do they stay awake?
On a given night or in a given season?
After you've been there, say, 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, so the program, the way it's structured is we start out 3 or 4 nights a week, and then we taper down substantially. So our program runs through April, and by April we're coming, I think it's 2 nights a week, and it's just a few hours each night. So the costs, diminish because the crows have learned at that point that all it takes is a little reminder, if at all, frankly.
I think you also said that you had a program like this in Hanford.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it's working, and they have contacted with you to do it again.
Yeah. So I'm
And-
actually meeting with Michelle Brown, who's the executive director of their downtown association. in a
And also,
couple
I think they
hours.
had a program up in Portland.
Yep, we have a program up in Portland. It's been running for 3 years. Hanford for 1 year, and we're going to renew again next year, I believe, and then here, and then I'm in talks also with the city of Fresno. So, there's a problem all throughout the San Joaquin Valley.
And it is a problem because downtown is a mess.
Yeah.
So we have to do something about that. Yeah.
Supervisor Rogers?
I've noticed maybe a residual effect on the pigeon population here. We don't have near as much out. My gauge is this stoop out here, because we can't even walk through it sometimes. It's so bad. It just gets caked. And the cost to clean the building, the cost to clean the walkways and the structures, some people might think, well, a little bit of bird dropping. No, this is a lot of bird dropping. This is bucket loads, and it's unsightly. I think it's a health risk as well.
Absolutely.
There are just numerous bird-borne diseases that we just don't want to have contact with that, and so I think it's a serious issue that needs to be dealt with. But tell me what you're seeing as far as a residual effect on the pigeon population when you're dealing with the crows.
Yeah. So definitely there is a residual effect. We have seen the pigeons moving away from, we focus a lot on this building because this was one of the hot spots where the crows were. And like you mentioned, there has been a kind of a secondary effect on the pigeons. I'm not going to lie and tell you that the pigeons are gone. All you have to do is walk to the intersection of Gateway and 4th, and you know that they're alive and well. And like I said, our program was engineered to focus on crows. We would happily do a similar program to focus on pigeons, whether it's throughout the whole area or just defending this building and the parking garage, which would be a fraction of the cost of our crow program and would absolutely work. It would just be done during the daytime and there'd be a different approach.
So it's a proven program you're talking about?
Absolutely, yeah.
You've done this before with pigeons?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yep, we do it at a high school in Fresno, all throughout Oregon, and down in Los Angeles, we have a lot of pigeon work as well.
Well, I'm sure it's logical that pigeons also fear the falcon.
Definitely, yeah.
I've seen it on duck ponds where I'm a duck hunter, and so when you go out, you see a falcon or a raptor appear, nothing comes around. The ducks are gone, the pigeons are gone, everything's gone, and it's no wonder. So it serves to reason that that would work.
One thing that is important to keep in mind is that crows are a federally protected species. Pigeons are not. Pigeons are a non-native invasive species. So the approach, frankly, that we can take with pigeons can be much more aggressive because it's within the realm of legality. Whereas with crows, we have to be very careful. We're licensed to do it, but the goal is not to kill or remove crows. It's to disperse them out of the areas where they're a problem. Whereas with pigeons, the approach we would take is to actually try to get rid of them and reduce the numbers and frankly feed our hawks and falcons.
Is there any ravens mixed with these?
What's that?
Is there any ravens mixed with these?
There are some ravens, because especially
They're
on the
not
outskirts of the
protected,
city.
though, right?
What's that?
Ravens aren't protected.
They are also protected, yeah.
They are?
There are exemptions if you have an orchard, a hazelnut orchard. There are depredation orders.
Right.
So they're basically exemptions from the Migratory Bird Treaty Act, and you can apply for that and then shoot the crows or ravens on your property, but that won't apply in the city. So, yeah.
Well, I have a business right down here, and when I first moved back from Orange County, the first weekend that I was back, I was up on the roof shoveling hundreds of pounds of pigeon poop, and then I ended up putting the netting and spikes up myself, and they went away, but that problem became somebody else's problem. It still stands to this day. I get to look down onto the building and see my good work. But it was like a metal siding, and I buttoned everything up. There was no way to get in. I came back and there was like about 50 pigeons that had got back in, And I didn't know how there was any possible way, and then I saw that one would stand on, there was parts of the metal roof that would come down like that.
They would stand on that?
They'd stand on it, all of the others would get in there, then the last one would go in and it would flap up, and so you couldn't see the, so when I saw where it was, I screwed it all, and then I had to get up there with my netting up there and that fake owl and just yell at them until they all flew out. And so I hate them. I hate them. This is like it.
They're evil.
Yeah, it just is. But I think that there's like a multi-pronged approach that needs to be taken, where if we're disrupting them and if with the pigeons we can reduce the numbers, we have to have places too that are where if they do come back, they're not perched up, or and if they're constantly harassed, they're not going to build their nests in the spikes. And so I think the spikes then become much more effective with a multi-pronged approach to it. And it's such a big problem that we need to do whatever we can to get rid of them once and for all. And we'll never get rid of them once and for all. It's going to be an ongoing pest problem. But I think this was amazing. One of my friends was in from San Diego, and actually was coming out of Burrito King, saw you out there with your hawk. He thought it was the coolest thing he'd ever seen in his entire life. He's like, you have to come to Madera from San Diego to see something this awesome, right? It was like, I think it's a great program, and I also used to live right on Gateway, and I had hundreds of crows in that there's a big tree there that was, every time I'd walk out of my door, you just hear.
On the northwest corner of the,
terrible. But, so are there any other questions from the Board of Supervisors? If not, I'll take it out to the public. Anyone from the public want to?
One thing just to finish up, this year was kind of a rush program to get this thing going and implemented before the beginning of the crow season. I'm hopeful that next year MDA will take the lead and we can start this project a little earlier and perhaps get other stakeholders as far as private businesses to come in on this that are outside some of the district areas. But ultimately, we'd like to keep after this problem on an annual basis to keep pushing these crows out. As Adam has stated too, we'll condition these crows, this generation, but next spring they'll have hatchlings and new birds, and they may not know that there's a bad guy by the name of Mars in town. We'll have to reintroduce
New bird
him.
sheriff in town.
Sheriff is a new boss in town. So, but
Can he fly with a badge on? Or?
Flies with a backpack. A little,
Supervisor Rogers, you had one more thing?
Well, I just want to make a motion when you're ready.
Okay, is there anybody else from the public? Debbie? You don't have a very big problem over by your office, do you?
Oh, no, not at all. Not anymore. Not since December 3rd. Debbie Bray, Madera Chamber of Commerce, here representing Madera Downtown Association Board of Directors as well, 120 Northeast Street, Madera, California. One of the things, when we were at the City Council meeting last week that was suggested by the council was also to maybe consider doing some workshops or informational topics for the businesses, especially in the heavily populated area with the crows and the pigeons, to help the business owners be a stakeholder as well, and to also learn some prevention methods in which they, as a property owner, can also implement. And so we've also talked with Adam about maybe hosting an educational series as well, because this is going to take all of us working together to eliminate the unsightly problem and the unhealthy problem that has been posed by these crows and the pigeons. So anyway, one thing I wanted to share, because he's here, is that our new city manager also came out to view the program one evening, and this was the first week that he was here. He had just left Yuba City and had been dealing with this same issue up in Yuba City. So he is also, I believe, a proponent of that, and so I was happy to have him on board as well. So thank you.
Great. And if there's no more public comment, I'll call close to the public comment portion, bring it back to the board for action.
Yeah, I'll move that we direct this to staff for consideration, and I'd like to include costs for pigeon removal as well. So I'd like to ask the staff to work on that.
So that's direction, but direction to staff is to contribute what is being asked, but then you want to look into.
So you want to do the 10,000 and then.
And look into
the
pigeon,
deal. I'll
pigeon.
second that way then.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Did you want to try the vote links today?
You want to try that make a
Oh,
motion?
thank you.
No?
Still won't work.
Okay. Okay. All right, call for the vote.
Oh, there it is.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
We hit it,
Thank
but
you.
we don't put no X in it.
It doesn't make the motion either.
That's okay. We'll get it all figured out next
Yeah.
time.
No
All right,
worries.
now,
Now B?
yeah, now we'll go on to, actually, Dennis's will go quickly. We'll do 8A. Sorry, Dennis will be really fast.
I can tell you where the crows are at.
Right
207,
outside your
209
office
East
door.
7th Street.
Are there more now?
That's where they went to.
There could not be any more poop than completely covered. Yeah, you know, our D and 7th Street. Right next door. They're there. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's, you know, you play hopscotch kind of given the building, and now you need a pole vault.
Yeah.
All right, 8A, would you like to read into the?
Yeah.
And get to 8A. 8A, Behavioral Health Services Department. Discussion and consideration of approval of a resolution appointing Valerie Schaefer as a retired annuitant to the position of Extra Help Certified Alcohol and Drug Counselor 2 of the Madera County Behavioral Health Services Department, waiving the CalPERS 180-day wait period from date of retirement and making findings in support thereof.
So this item in front of you is our recently retired staff person, works up in Oakhurst. We've been unable to hire someone to work up in Oakhurst, and she's agreed to come back as a retired annuitant and work up there 2 days a week until we can find someone.
Any questions from the board?
I just, I mean, nobody just wants to go up there? You can't assign somebody and say that's your job?
I can. I could assign somebody. Then I have to backfill that person here, and right now I didn't know how much detail. We are looking at redesigning our alcohol and drug services, so I prefer not to even hire someone right now. So if I assign it, I would be a little slim, and, you know, and quite honestly, some of the staff, someone's going up there now, we did assign someone up there. Some are just afraid to drive up there because they've never really drove in the mountains. Yeah.
So when you recruit, we've got to consider that.
Yes, most definitely. We are trying to recruit just for that position. We're really looking at our funding for substance use disorder is changing, has been over the last few months, and we have been talking, we may end up contracting out some services that she is doing, so I don't really want to hire anyone. We're not going to be laying anyone off or anything like that. We just have to reorganize how we provide the services, because our main funding source is changing what requirements we can use for certain things. Yeah.
Now, is that the office up on 426?
Correct.
How's that coming to remodel?
Oh, man. Yeah.
Well, boy, I guess I stumped him on that. Want to send some
No, he
pigeons
seemed
up there?
He seemed a little disgusted with it.
You know, I'll take like 30 seconds. It is, I just cannot believe it. They put in a shower, a laundry facility,
Right.
and a toilet, $180,000, and it's now taken us almost 2 years, and they have still not done one thing. Now, I have walked it through, I have been told every reason as it goes, and it's not a finger pointing, a blaming, whatever. So if you talk about someone that's frustrated, as a person that stands in front of their staff every month or quarter, and now every year to say, it's almost there. You know, there's nothing that has given me more frustration.
What can we do to help?
You know what, I think it's going on its course, you know. It's like having a baby.
We're getting,
And it seems like we're right.
getting off of this topic. This,
Yeah, sorry.
Off of the,
My fault. It's been a little frustrating.
Yeah.
But we're going to get it. We will get it. I will stay here until we get that. That's for sure.
Okay,
Anyway,
we
that's
won't ever
really
get it. We'll just keep you here forever. Is there any other public comment? Because that was during public comment portion of this item. Is there any other public comment? Seeing none, I'll close the public comment and bring it back to the board for action.
I make a motion for approval.
Max has a motion, second by Supervisor Poitras. Roll call, please.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thanks.
Very good. Thanks, Dennis.
All right, now we'll jump over 8B. Just kidding. Let's move to 8B.
8B, County Administration Department, General Services Division, presentation of Eagle Shield Pest Control regarding bird control exclusion services and discussion and direction to staff for services for the Madera County Government Center and parking garage. Hold on. There you go.
Good afternoon.
It's still off.
Maria Miranda with General Services. I am here with Brad Kendrick and Andrew Klein with Eagle Shield Pest Control. Back in October, county staff wanted to take a more comprehensive approach to dealing with the crow and pigeon droppings here at the Government Center and parking garage. We drafted an RFP and released that in November, and this was prior to any knowledge of the Downtown Association's work with the Falconeer. We were looking for a long-term comprehensive solution, something with significant warranties, and we wanted a company that has significant expertise in that field. Internally, we had tried a number of avenues to do it, to take care of the problem in-house. We did the ultrasound machines, actual audible machines you can hear. We've done gels, we've done sprays, we've done any number of things to try to take care of the problem in-house, and it just hasn't worked, which is why we took the step to release the RFP looking for a more comprehensive solution. We had 2 bids come in, and Eagle Shield was the most responsive and responsible bidder. They had stellar references, and they have a lot of experience in this field. We understand that the cost, the total cost for both Government Center and parking garage is $279,000. It's primarily focused on exclusion measures, stealth netting, the spikes, a number of other things, including trapping and bird wire. And due to the cost, we did want to come before you and present the proposal and the recommendations from the vendor directly, have you weigh in and see if you wanted to pursue the entire project, part of the project, or just what your general direction would be to us. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Eagle Shield to give you some more information on their proposal.
Good afternoon to the members of the board, and Happy New Year to you as well. Unfortunately, I don't have anybody named Mars with me, so kind of hard to follow something like that. But we are here today representing Eagle Shield Pest Control. My name is Brad, this is Andrew, and we wanted to go over our proposal and what we have proposed to Madera County in regards to your pigeon, specifically your pigeon issue. And so like Maria said, we have done this for a long time. Our company has been in business for many years. And then we have specialized in bird work for quite a while as well now. And as she said, we are very proud of the work that we do, and our references will speak for that. So with that being said, I'd like to direct your attention to the screens in regards to our proposal. I'll give you a little bit of a slideshow in terms of how we propose to do that. So our qualifications, we are certified installers. We are certified through 2 different companies, Bird Barrier and Bird Begone, 2 of the largest bird control supply companies in the world. So they supply us with materials, with training, with certifications for installment. So it's not something that we just thought of doing one day and trial by fire, but we went through the proper channels and trainings to do so. And so obviously pigeons are an issue. I don't know if I have to spend a lot of time on this to explain how much of an issue that pigeons are between the diseases, and I think the people from the falconry department will attest to it. The pigeons are definitely an issue when it comes to diseases and control. Like you said, you just walk into the boardroom and see that for yourself. Some of the things I do want to point out, though, in regards to pigeons, they are very smart. Pigeons, they claim to be one of the most intelligent birds. I would claim that they would be one of the most intelligent animals in the world. They're definitely high population. Scientists have discovered that pigeons have remarkable smell. When it comes to their homing instincts, there is an extreme maternal instinct in pigeons. It's not my own findings, that's just through science itself. But they are very, very maternal, meaning when they are born in an area or they're on a site, it's very, very difficult to get them to leave that site because of how maternal and the maternal instincts that they have. And so one of the statistics here is you can take a pigeon 400 to 600 miles away from its home and it would still find its way back, sometimes even in the same day, depending how far away it goes. Pigeons look for flat surfaces for roosting and nesting, and as you know here, there are several areas on the Madera County Government Building and the parking structure that are perfect spots for pigeons to nest and to loaf. According to research, taking a small subset out of the population really doesn't accomplish much other than opening up space for other birds to feel. And so we have found that just removing them doesn't really do a lot, but it is very important, and we'll get into that in just a minute. But that does mean that more birds or pigeons can come in and nest in those same exact areas.
I had too that they're not migratory birds, and so they won't go away just for, like the crows, they won't go away just for the wintertime. They will be here year-round. So.
Right, there is no season for pigeons. It is year-long.
Based on my time on the roof, shoveling all the poop, I don't think they have very good smell. You can just smell it from anywhere.
That's true. That's true. Not a good
They're
smell.
attracted to their, yeah,
Right.
they're attracted to their pheromones just like a rodent would be. So if another pigeon's there, they're going to go to that area as well. So.
Yeah, pigeons will drop up to a quarter pound of feces per day. Each pigeon, quarter pound of feces per day.
There's studies of canopies collapsing over like the field places, canopies collapsing because of pigeon feces on top and et cetera. So.
And then the last thing is when one nesting site is removed, pigeons are quick to find another. There's no question if I take it from this point, it definitely is going to find another area to nest, which is why we try to do a very comprehensive plan when it came to these buildings, because we don't want to exclude just the top and then to find other areas to nest. But we've included a very comprehensive plan for that, including warranties on the products that we have. So with that overview of our methods, we do plan on using Duraspikes, stealth netting, bird wire, daddy longlegs, and trapping. Before we get into it, the last thing that I want to hone in on is the trapping part and the reason why it's very important. And there's no question in my mind that falconry works. It's a tool for bird control. There's no question that it's a very good tool, and I think it's very cool as well. So there's no question that it works. However, we're looking at giving you something that's long-term. That's the reason for trapping. And I'd like to point out the reason why you trap is to remove what we call resident birds. Because if a bird knows where there's a nesting site, and the reason why something like spikes would be ineffective and where they would come and continue to try to nest in that spot is because you have not removed a resident bird. One of the things that I mentioned in our first meeting with the Department of Services, I mentioned Mr. Raymond that's here today, and he's a facility manager. He obviously knows this place inside and out. He may know where every exit is. He may know where the stairwells are. He knows where the elevator is. However, I'm new to this area, so I don't know where all those things are. So if I see a stairwell, which I don't know what it is, but he does, and if I see that it's blocked, I may not even try to go into that. In fact, I won't try because I don't know what's there. However, Mr. Raymond may know what it is because he has been here before. So that's what we liken to a resident bird. When a resident bird is here and it knows where its nesting site is, it will do everything it can to get back into that spot. So that's why in our experience that we've had, that's why some things are ineffective, is because they have not done and taken the time to remove those resident birds. So that's
And
why
if it had
trapping.
landing capabilities next to some spikes, it could walk into there, but if it's an
Correct.
area where they can't, they won't even try to land because their wings won't be able to get down into the spike area, so.
Correct. That's why in certain areas, if let's say it's a void, if you put spikes in something like that, the pigeon can literally land and walk right through the spikes. So not knowing the exact circumstances, but that's why we do what we do, and the experience that we have, we do a comprehensive plan to make adjustments for things like that. So trapping is a very important part of our program because you have to get rid of the resident birds. We will be using traps that can hold up to 50 pigeons at a time. So we use large traps that have water and food in them, and so that way you can trap the pigeons and remove the resident birds that are here. And then eliminating all of the access points that they have been using for ledges, and then we'd be more than happy to donate them to Mars to have for dinner. So, so anyways, that's an overview of what we plan to do. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the Duraspikes. Duraspikes are through Bird Barrier, who we plan to get all the supplies through. The biggest thing in regards to Duraspikes is this. Number one, we're warranting the Duraspikes for 15 years. They're completely stainless steel, and so the only thing that is a limited warranty in terms of if somebody walks up there and rips it off, that would be something that wouldn't cover it in the warranty, but we are guaranteeing that those spikes will be there and do their job for 15 years. So we're very confident in that product. And I will say we didn't have a chance to do all of the math, but I would say a good, probably close to 60 to 75% of the job that we're doing here will be these Duraspikes. And again, guaranteeing that wherever there's spikes, they're going to be there for that long and they're going to do their job. Again, the blunt tips on the ends of each spike cannot hurt birds or humans. It's just to deter them, to keep them where they can't land on that spot. And again, they are completely stainless steel.
Why?
So what's that?
Why ain't they sharp?
Why aren't they? Well, we do live in 21st century America.
Yeah. California.
Yeah. I have what I would like to do, and then I have what I can do.
We have a question from Supervisor Rodriguez.
Okay, yes, sir.
Brad, you mentioned you trap them. What do you do with the pigeons after you trap them?
Well,
Mars.
Mars, yeah. Unfortunately, just trapping and releasing, we cannot do that. So they do have to be euthanized. I think that's a politically correct term.
Very good. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they do, otherwise they will come back. So we did do a spike comparison for the board as well. This is the difference between the spikes that they offer. There is something called Duraspikes, which again is stainless steel on the base, stainless steel spikes, as opposed to using something that's a polycarbonate base. There was only a 5-year warranty on that. And so we do use the stainless steel ones. These are the proposed areas that we plan to put spikes. Basically any ledge that is an opportunity for a pigeon to land and roost. We try to be very comprehensive in it, and so I try to give you a few slides as to where we will put those spikes. The spikes are 8 inches wide. They go all the way down to 3 inches wide. We have to use the appropriate spike for the appropriate ledge. I will point out that one of the things that I saw with those pigeons sitting on that ledge earlier was the size of the spikes was not appropriate for that ledge. So they have to be appropriate for the ledge that it's on. And so whether it takes 1 strip of spikes or 2 or 3 strips of spikes, we have to use the appropriate amount or you will continue to have an issue. And so on the shade canopies, then you have Duraspikes on top, on the very top ledge. You can even see the pigeons sitting on the very top of the building, so all of that will have spikes on it. But more than anything, we want to get rid of those as well and remove those pigeons in the trapping program. There are ledges, several ledges, and every ledge I think we have included in terms of putting whether it's spikes or bird wire. We'll get into bird wire in a minute, but we try to do as much of a comprehensive plan covering every ledge because, again, it's not worth it for us even to come say, hey, you're good to go, and then have pigeons still sitting on a spot where we didn't account for. So we try to be very comprehensive with that. Again, more spikes, more ledges, trying to cover every single ledge that is there. Now, I will say this as well, stainless steel spikes are, the visibility of stainless steel spikes is very low because of the reflection of the sun. Once you see it up, you'll understand what we mean by it, but the visibility of spikes is very low. You've probably driven by so many different signs, and whether it's Subaru in Fresno, we've done a few jobs with signs with spikes, and you probably have never even recognized that it's there. So the visibility is very low. The plastic spikes are where you get in trouble, and in terms of the reflection of the light, I don't know all that science details, but the visibility is very low with the stainless steel spikes. Then we get into stealth netting. This is one of the jobs that we did at the community food bank. The best thing about netting, when you exclude something with netting, it's guaranteed that nothing is going to get in there. That's the best part about putting up netting. Now, it's obviously you can't net an open area. That's where spikes will come into play, but wherever you put netting, I guarantee you, you will not have an issue with birds getting in there. That's something that we do with the netting. That's why it's very effective. It's a polyethylene twine, so it's not just plastic or fish net that you may buy at Walmart. It's something that's professional grade. It's a 45-pound test, so it's very durable. The black netting is the lowest visibility, but also has a 10-year warranty connected to it. So again, wherever the netting is, we're guaranteeing that that's going to stay up there and be look nice, be neat for up to 10 years. Here are some of the places that we plan to put it. We didn't want to do spikes just everywhere, so where there's netting, because that's a 100% guarantee that where netting is, the birds will not get into it. We did put netting around, or proposed to put netting around some of the shade canopies at the top, and then also on the big ledges at the very top. The netting is going to do exactly where the red lines are. It's going to go from the top and go down to the base of that shade canopy at the very top of the building. The reason why we did that is because it is almost 3 feet wide, so putting a bunch of spikes wasn't cost effective, plus putting the netting made more sense in terms of its how long it would last, but then excluding them for a long period of time, guaranteed. And it's, again, the visibility. I can show you some netting jobs, and I think Maria even asked a few people. We do very professional, clean work. We've had people literally walk into a net because they couldn't see it. So the visibility is very low on the netting as well. Then you have the part at the very, or the signs that are in the front and the back. There's a structure. And so the same thing, we plan to go from the top, so that way the pigeons cannot sit on top of that, nor can they sit on the ledges, because we want to exclude them from that. So that sign, or the overhang as you walk into the buildings from both ends, we plan to put netting there as well. Again, stretching at an angle, so that way they can't even land on it, because you want to keep them off of that structure completely. Stealth netting, again, around the stairways. All of the stairwells, we plan to put netting except where the public is going to be walking in and out. We do put netting everywhere else to keep the pigeons from flying in. On the first story of the stairwell, and I believe the top story where it would be open, because the public would still have to have an access point, there will be spikes sitting on the ledges in there. That way they can't just fly in and land there, and so that will keep them from there. Plus the netting all the way up, they're not going to have any access point to the stairwells, and I know that that is an area of high concern. And then all of the parking garage, if there is an area for a car to drive through or a person to walk through, those areas will be open, but there will be areas when you first walk in, even when you drive in, where there's going to be spikes and things on the bases, or as a bird ledges as they would fly in, that would keep them off, but then netting everywhere else, so that way there's not any direct access points. So for instance, on the left-hand side, you'll see all of those gaps will have netting, And I can guarantee you right now, unless you're looking for it, you won't even know that the netting is there. And then there's another area we'll be putting netting, which is your very typical standard canopy style netting. And that's the solar panel roof that's on the top. Because of all of the mini ledges that are on the solar panel, every single one of those beams that go across has a ledge. And so instead of us trying to put spikes and making it more cost effective, we decided to propose that with netting all the way up underneath. Again, it's going to look very nice and neat. You won't even hardly tell it's there unless you're looking for it. But then it's going to last for a long time, especially something like that doesn't get hit by the sun on a consistent basis. Then we have bird wire. One of the reasons we propose bird wire on certain spots is, number one, is the visibility is also lower on that than even the bird spikes. But all of the material on it is stainless steel, and there are certain ledges that we still want to exclude. In fact, I'll just go to it, the next slide. There are certain ledges that number one, it's small enough to where we would use bird wire because we still want to keep birds off of it. The second reason is there are no pointed edges to it, and so there are certain areas like where the parking garage is that we still want to exclude the ledge but not use something like spikes where we know that it would be a concern for public health. And so we use something like bird wire where it's a metal string that goes across to where the birds can't land on it, but then it's not something where some kid or somebody can make a deal. So we propose certain areas on the parking garage where it would be bird wire instead of spikes, so that way you're still covered in terms of exclusion. So there's a few spots here that have some pictures on it, and then some smaller ledges, and then some more areas on the parking garage that would have bird wire on it. Then there's daddy long legs. These are things that we can use them on some of the air conditioned units, but what I like about it is the rods that wave is a deterrent to where the bird can't come in and land. And so there's certain areas in the next pictures we'll show you where we plan to put those. So again, not using spikes, but having something like this called the daddy long legs to where the birds can't fly and land on it because of the waving around, and they can't get their wings to land on it. So that way it's still being excluded, and it's taking into the concern of public health as well. And then our slogan with Eagle Shield Pest Control is soaring above expectations, and we certainly try to do that in all areas that we do. We want to make sure that we do professional work and we do things right and provide a comprehensive plan for Madera County. Thank you.
Just quickly, if I may, Chairman. Again, our approach here was comprehensive and long-term. That's what we released RFP to do, and that's what the proposal we got here from Eagle Shield. Pigeons procreate rapidly. Like their eggs hatch in 18 days. So we constantly have new pigeons coming in, new pigeons coming in. So from a facility standpoint, I agree with the chairman that it would be a comprehensive multi-pronged solution here, and certainly the falcon-based abatement's part of that solution, but from our standpoint and with our last 5 years that I've been dealing with it, it's a partial solution for us. And it's an ongoing too, because pigeons are year-round and they're constantly, more pigeons are coming in, and it would be ongoing services to continue to haze them to keep them out of the building. This, we're looking for a one-time large expense at the output that could last 10 to 15 years. And with that, we're open for questions.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yeah, just to be frank, I don't care for the look of the remediations. The facility shouldn't look like a prison, and it kind of gives it that flair. I would rather have a yearly eradication cost, trapping, falconry, and you guys can compete on that. We've asked staff to bring back a proposal on the pigeon falconry. We can do the same with the trapping on your end. you guys compete, and we'll weigh that and see whatever happens there. But in my opinion, I've seen remediations like you're describing before, and I've seen pigeons sitting on them. I've seen them with nests built into the spikes. I've seen them flying out from under nets. A good example was the Chichansi building. They got nets all over that building, and they try to keep the swallows from nesting there. But I've seen the birds flying out from under those nets. And maybe you guys are more efficient at it than somebody else is. But I'm just not convinced that the detriment to the look of this building is worth the process there. And I think that eradication is just much more attractive to me, and even an ongoing yearly eradication program would be effective. So that's just my opinion.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it does a little bit, but I think with stainless steel, you don't see them as much as you would others. I have been around buildings, and all of a sudden I look close and I see them, but it's not something that really stands out. They're not flashing like this, Just somewhere I got a flasher. So if it's flashing like that, you see it.
That's right.
Yeah. Right. If you don't, you don't. Anyway, the eradication is a great idea. But in the parking garage, I've noticed, and I've been trying to figure out myself since Maria talked to me about this a while back. There's some areas like all this north end of it, along, we park up at the top up there in the west end. On this side, there's ledges there with the top, and I'd rather see us put some, instead of netting there, I'd rather see us box that in some way, so it's permanent, so they can't, whoever designs these things, they don't think about what's going to happen later. And if we could box those in with plywood or metal, whatever, or chicken wire or something that's there forever, so they can't even get on those ledges. And I mean, there's some areas we can't, but there's a lot of areas we could do that. Not in this building here, but in the parking garage.
Mm-hmm.
Just close those areas up, because they're nesting up in there and everything. Like the beams that go across as you drive up, where you got some of the signs hanging, they get up on those. If we box that in up there on both sides, they couldn't get in there. So that might be a little more expensive, but it's permanent. But I like this idea. I like all these different things. And that wire, is it electrified?
No, sir. No.
Can we
It's for
electrify
public
it?
health.
Why not? I mean,
I like your ideas, I promise.
We
but-
electrify our fences for horses and cows and sheep.
That's right.
Yeah,
and
I think my
dogs now
hatred.
even.
I think my hatred for pigeons goes as far as Mr. Frazier's as well. So.
The problem is if a kid is up there and touches it,
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, if they climb up there, some parent ought to be.
I don't know if that
But anyway, I like that, and I know it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of money. We're spending $20,000-$30,000 cleaning this thing at least every year. You
Maria
add
was
all those
mentioning-
up every year what it's costing us to clean.
$25,000 to power wash the windows and power wash the
One
structures.
time.
One time.
One time, $25,000. Add that up since this building's been built. We've
Yeah.
already paid for it a couple times.
And Maria said about 4 times a year, I think.
We're up to about at least 4 times a year
So
with
we've
the,
already
with
paid
water
for,
bills,
see,
yeah.
we've already paid for this in a year or two. So-
And it never fails right after the windows are power washed. I get, I mean, immediately.
We just,
Casey's,
we
I
just
believe
had
you
them
called
done in
it. It's a little
November.
better than.
Yeah. The vendor was out in November and just completely did it, and it's already.
Thank you.
If you don't mind, I'd like to go back to addressing Mr. Rogers as well. I know one of your concerns was seeing work that's been done, but I can guarantee you that our work is guaranteed, that you're not going to have a bird fly out from underneath a netting or to see them build spikes, because, again, the plan that we have would really be a detriment to us to say that it's guaranteed and only to have to come back out and fix it. That's not very cost effective for a business.
Either one of us.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
Brett calls
So you're
us,
saying they won't nest in your spikes?
That's correct.
we will come back and make a solution if they start to.
Correct.
Supervisor Poitras?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Great presentation, and I think that the methods that you describe have value. At this time, though, I'm just thinking that we might be a little bit premature moving forward with the with this expense. What I'd like to see is what happens with a kind of a bid for trapping from both, like we have asked from Avian and as well from you, and to see what happens after that. And if it looks like that it's been effective with the trapping, then we don't have to go through the expense of, I don't know, $230,000, $240,000, because I know there's going to be a certain expense to the pigeon trapping. So I think that we would be, again, putting the cart before the horse, and we do have some other options that we need to take a look at. So I'm not saying that we won't go this way, or I wouldn't support going this way, but I'd kind of like to see what would happen with the trapping to avoid the expense to the taxpayer.
Right.
Go ahead.
Great, I totally understand, thank you, Mr. Poitras, but what happens with pigeons, like you've seen, they multiply and repeat very quickly, and not just you guys, but in the whole area, there's thousands upon thousands and thousands of pigeons. And so if we start a trapping program, anybody starts a trapping program just here, it remediates what's just in this area and what's nesting on the Madera Government Center, within just a few months, you're going to get a new flock of birds. And if we remove their nest, the places for them to nest, the places for them to come and roost during the day, that's what's going to take care of the problem long term. So that's what we bid it as a long-term solution. Trapping does work. It's great. It's actually implemented into our program. We're going to trap as well as exclude. But you do that to take away, like you said, the resident birds. And then after that, new birds come along. They see, I can't live there. I'm not going to go live there. And so trapping works, but then if they find a place they can live there still, the new birds come in, they're going right back. They can smell the pheromone. I'm living there just because that's an open house. There's nobody living there. I'm living there.
Well, and it would have to be a comprehensive program to work with the city of Madera as well as the Downtown Association, because I understand if we're just looking at the government buildings, just like putting, the spikes and so forth just on these two buildings, that doesn't eliminate the pigeons in the entire rest of the downtown area. So it's going to have to, and Max is going to hear about it, I'm going to hear about it. We're supervisors, but we also need to work, we've talked about working with our city partners, and I'm certain that they'd be interested in looking to take care of the pigeon problem too. So I'm looking at more of a comprehensive thing, just not for this building, because we can say, hey, guess what, we've dealt with it, and the heck with the rest of you guys. We need to take a look at our entire community, because everybody in the city of Madera is a resident in the county of Madera.
Yeah, and so I don't get to put my name on here, but I wanted to go next, so I'm going to.
Chairman's privilege.
Yeah, so like I said, it has to be this multi-pronged approach. If we did an ongoing eradication and it was yearly, we would have a buildup of 12 months to when we do it, we kill them, and then they'll move back in. Because I've had to deal with pigeons so often and different things, that you have to exclude them from your area. And then we have the downtown falconry. I think we'll still need, even with this exclusion, there's still going to be pigeons that fly in where you drive your car in. They're going to fly in where people walk upstairs. And then I think on a regular basis, we need to bring in either do more trapping or kill them with a falcon or a hawk, and bring that in on a regular basis, and continue to do, this work is not going to be set it and forget it. This isn't Ronco, deal. This is a lot of money, but we have to exclude as many birds as possible from coming in, make it as hard for them to land in here as possible. If we were just to go out and kill them, trap them, get every single one of the pigeons out today, you're absolutely right. There would be, whoever does it on their building, they're going to come in to here tomorrow. So we need to make this as, button it up as much as possible, as where you don't see it as much. I had to use the polycarbonate spikes on the top of mine because I was on a budget. But I also want to know that my work is definitely guaranteed. I did it at about 10 or 12 years ago. It's still there today. You don't see a single pigeon up there. But it needs to be both. It needs to be an ongoing. I see that both of these have to be worked together to keep downtown clean, to keep our building clean, to keep our parking lot clean. Neither one of them works just by itself, I don't think. So I think we need both.
And if you don't mind, I'll address your concern as well. And I totally agree. And when we first started putting this plan together, those are the things that we do think about because we pay taxes as well. So we understand, and we want to make sure that it's being put towards something like that. When it comes to just trapping, and it works, again, it is part of a comprehensive plan, but I can guarantee you it wouldn't be a long-term solution. Because of regardless where you trap, there's sometimes where trapping isn't the answer. So that's why exclusion is part of the process as well. And like you said, it's something that we're trying to do comprehensively and thinking long-term. Because if you trap today and get rid of everything in 6 months, and in fact, one of the things that we do at some places is use a chemical called Avitrol, which some of you probably have heard. You would really like it to get rid of pigeons. But you can talk to anyone.
Stick and can't move no more.
Well,
no, they eat it and it makes
they
them
eat it and
crazy.
they go
It makes one of
crazy.
them
Correct.
crazy, and then the other ones disperse because the other one is.
Exactly. So we have several accounts that we've done it at, and it would be similar to trapping because you're getting rid of the birds that are there. And you can ask any one of them within 6 months, they'll come back because of the pheromones. Because if a pigeon is born here, it will do everything it can to get back to here, even if it's been driven out.
That's why they found that little part of on the mansard of the roof. But and now we have that sonic where it emits like a hawk. Is that more effective when we actually have an actual hawk that's coming around? Oh, it's not effective at all. I know it's not effective, but if there's an actual hawk, that's coming in, right? Then the next time, if they hear that, they're like, well, that hawk could still be here, right?
Hawks and raptors are hunting, they're not vocalizing.
Oh.
Be counterproductive, right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna get you.
There's an irony to the idea that, that speaker would be effective at all. But,
And then generally, maybe a week or so, and then they're used to the sound.
I think that's similar to any device that you would use, is that once they get used to it, regardless of what it is, they'll be comfortable enough to come back.
Yeah, I remember seeing them perched on top of the fake owl. Supervisor Wheeler.
A couple of things. Where are you guys located?
Fresno, California.
Fresno.
Yes, sir.
Put your office in Madera.
We do have a branch office that works out of Madera.
Okay.
So we,
That's all I
yeah.
hear. And the second thing is.
We are a registered company in Madera as well.
Okay. So that 279,000 bid, that's trapping too, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought. That's the reason I wanted to make sure Supervisor Poitras knew that. So we are doing trapping. We got to do trapping too, I tell you. I mean, just a little history, and stuff like that. I've got a bunch of chickens now, and I've had raccoons, skunks, and.
We do that trapping too.
And last week, I've killed 2 raccoons and 2 skunks. And yesterday, the skunk, I catch them live, and then I shoot them, but I have a long show, I have to hook it and get it out of my pin there so that I can feed the horse and everything. And my stupid dog ran up there and got sprayed. And so we had to lock him out all night last night, but I took WD-40 and I sprayed him all over. And a little off subject, but he don't stink no more now anyway. But it smells like WD-40. But if you don't, I've been trapping and shooting those things for the last, year on this piece of property. And they keep coming back, no matter what. And these pigeons will keep coming back, just like they said. I mean, we trap them and euthanize them and the whole work, or however you want to do them, give them to somebody at a restaurant. They can have squab in their restaurants with all of it. So, but I think personally that we need to do that. And I don't want to spend $25,000 4 times a year cleaning this stuff up and not do nothing about it. It's just, and I hate when I step out here and this shit out here. If you go out this door right here, it's about as bad as any place you can get. So you can ask our man right there; he'll tell you that too. And you have to tippy toe in, you still bring it in. So I'm in favor of it, and I'm ready to make a motion when you guys are ready. So
Supervisor Rogers.
Yeah, I just, again, I want to go back to the thought that's a lot of money, and it, to me, a comprehensive trapping program or falconry program would not just be once a year, it would be quarterly. You would come in quarterly, take the birds out that have come back. So I'm not talking about something once a year and where we have to go back and clean up and worry about them all coming in again. I'm talking about a comprehensive trapping program. And I think that might work. You know, I would like to see that cost versus the cost of expending money to make this building bird-proof and it look atrocious and not work. And that is a possibility, not completely work. I just have an aversion to spending that kind of money on the aesthetics of that solution, as it were.
How often do you trap?
Well, the trapping, again, we typically don't just trap to trap, because in those situations, it would be, in fact, there's situations where we've trapped at there's a Saputo cheese factory and drawing a blank on the other one, and two of them in Hanford and Lemoore, where it's an ongoing trapping, but it's only in conjunction. Trapping would be something that you'd have to do almost weekly to keep trying to get, and then again, you're not considering, or you're not guaranteed that you're going to trap the ones that maybe just hide out, that don't even come towards the trap. So that's, again, it's only in conjunction with it. And so that's trapping, whatever method you use to try to get rid of them, that's something that, and I completely understand when it comes to cosmetics. I'm sure that when they built this, and just like many homes, they don't take into account all the things that could happen. We do a lot of rodents as well, where it's like, you know, you make all these things look pretty, but then you're not thinking about that. So, so I totally get it, but that's why we try to use materials that are as very discreet as possible, and we wouldn't do as much work as we do if that wasn't the case, or if it looked bad, or if it didn't work either.
Yeah, I think the netting is an effective method. In some regards, I did some of that for the VFW. They had a patio structure that they took the bottom, had a stucco bottom, and it was,
you put netting on it?
and we took it out, and it had open beams, and the birds started coming in, so we put netting on it, and it worked. It kept the birds out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd just like to see what we can do in terms of eradication. I think you know, while you might trap once a week for a little while, I think that's going to slow down as the birds start disappearing, or use a falconry, they might disappear altogether. But I think that's a better solution myself. That's personal.
Supervisor Poitras?
Thank you. I'd just like to reiterate that, again, I think that we're a little bit premature. I don't think there's anything wrong with taking a look at the trapping solution and then monitor it, see what happens after 90 days to 180 days, and rather than jumping in. I think our friends from Eagle Shield have done a great job, but you have to remember they have a profit motive. You know, I mean, you don't do it for free. There's a little profit motive in there, and that's a wonderful thing. And so, you know, and I don't mind paying that, you know, for the county, for our taxpayers, but I do think it would be prudent for us to take a look at other methods that cost less money and see if it's effective. And if it's not effective, let's move forward.
Right.
Okay. Public comment?
All right, yeah. Oh, thank you. Is there any members of our public that would like to come forward and comment at this time?
Uh-oh. Come on up.
I'm excited to hear what you've got on that.
Couldn't get away with it, right? Rod Hatzman, 15 and 36. I have a question. You have pigeons. You do pigeons also. Could you do pigeons in the parking garages?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So one is $279,000 and the other one is $30,000 or approximately. It seems like that would be an avenue of address. And then if you guys are doing the project for $279,000 and you guarantee that you can get rid of the pigeons, you do the cleanup. Then that way, if there is pigeons, you have a problem, you're not associating, you're not having to pay for the pigeons coming back, right? So I mean, either way, you have to.
And I believe that's part of the guarantee, is that if there's pigeons coming back, they'll come to
where they have to
do
do to
whatever
do
the-
it.
So you guys do cleanup too?
Well, whether we subcontract it out or do it ourselves, but one of the things that is included in that is wherever we do exclude is a part of our comprehensive plan, that is part of the guarantee. And to address you're asking questions about the falconry and the differences. So you're talking about 20 to 30,000. We have talked to several falconry companies, so it's not something that we just base off of what we may think. It's from facts from several different companies. Airstrike, Falcon Force are some major companies that do falconry, and all three companies we've talked to have said that it's not a singularity be-all, end-all solution for a pigeon issue. So you're talking about 20 to 30,000 every quarter. We're talking about something that we're guaranteeing for 10 to 15 years. So I agree, falconry works. It does work. But in our experience in talking to other experts, they have an adverse opinion on it, especially when it comes to pigeons who will hide out, who have that homing instinct. It's kind of hard to say that a pigeon will fly 400 to 600 miles away to come back to their nesting site, and to say that something can scare it away for good, I find that hard to believe, in my opinion.
So your 279,000 is over a 15-year period?
Correct. So the spikes, which is probably 60 to 75% of our work, is a 15-year guarantee. The netting is a 10-year guarantee.
I see. I didn't hear that part of it in the conversation.
That's all right.
I was trying to figure, 279,000 a year, it kind of seems,
Right.
yeah.
No, that's for things that's,
Two and
again,
two
we're
didn't
trying to
add up
offer a
four.
permanent
Sir?
solution.
Two and two didn't add up to
Yeah,
four.
I thought, man, this is kind of.
That's a good point, too. I appreciate you.
And they
bringing
asked us
that.
to come in comprehensively and take care of it, so that's what we did it as.
That was it for me.
Go ahead, Debbie, you can start while he's filling the paper out.
Thank you, Chairman Wheeler.
I've learned a lot since November about nature and its friends of flight. And my guess tells me is that there's no perfect solution. However, I do want to go back and make the comment that working in partnership, collaborating with this county, with people in the community, I think has a greater impact on the taxpayer dollars. And while I'm also impressed with your program, I want to go back to one of the things Supervisor Porter said, is that the money that you're looking at, the $280,000, will impact this building only. So what is the return on your investment in terms of taking care of constituents, your taxpayers, and people within this community? I think that's one of my thoughts is, well, no program is perfect. Is that how far are those dollars going to go in resolving the issue to the best of our capabilities? That's all I pose before you.
Yeah, and to answer that, this is the people's building. So many people of our constituents come in, use this building. If they're having to step over feces, I think is the correct term I'd like you to.
Got the same problem in our office, so I can relate.
I was worried that I was going to get some on my new suit today. This is the benefit to everybody. This isn't the county building. This is the people's building.
Absolutely. I don't disagree.
And making sure that they have a safe, healthy place to come, pay their taxes, and
Go to board meetings.
Go to board meetings, go to planning department, talk about water. All that is important to make sure that this building is accessible and clean for the people. So,
Plus, we have another $100,000 left that we won't be cleaning every year, every 25,000 every quarter that we can spend
And
on
I
the
don't
other
think that
places
this
in
is
this
just a
county.
government problem either. I think one of the goals of the Downtown Association, to kind of go back to the previous program, regardless of what your actions are here today, is to develop also a private sector funding mechanism, because they've also got to take care of their own properties as well.
Right.
So again, it's something to be considered a joint effort.
yeah, and the previous one, we put in our portion, our buy-in to that of the 10,000, and I believe that's going to be kind of an ongoing thing. When I made that decision, I didn't think that was a one-time thing. I'm guessing that's going to be back next year.
That's where you
But if
made a
we're
motion.
if we're saving $100,000 a year in cleaning, actually, we're still gonna have to clean the building. Let's even just cut that to 50,000. And if a falconry program for an ongoing is 30, we're saving 20,000 over the year. So there's.
Yeah, the maintenance costs, I know, are just astronomical.
It's terrible, yeah, so.
Thank you.
Okay, Supervisor Rogers can't get to come on and then. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make the point too, that we're still going to clean the building, so we're still going to have that expense no matter what happens, at least once a year, maybe every half a year. So that is still going to be there. And as you eradicate, the problem isn't going to be 100 birds. It might be 1 or 2 birds, not as bad, not as severe as coming out here and you got a mountain of excrement all over your patio. That's what's happening out here. So I think I really find Supervisor Poitras's suggestion very pertinent at that point, because being cost effective, we're still going to clean the building. We want to get the problem down to manageable. I think eradication definitely may do that. If it doesn't, we still have the possibility of the other solution available. That's my point.
Okay, and before I go to Supervisor Poitras and Rodriguez, is there anybody else from the public wishing to make comment?
You can.
So, yeah, I just want to say that I'm very pleased that this conversation is happening.
Say your name first, too.
Sorry.
So it's on
Adam BOS. I work with Integrated Avian Solutions. When I first came to Madera to resolve the crow problem, I was immediately kind of taken by how substantial your pigeon problem is as well. And light bulbs are going off in my head. Who can I contact, and how can we get a kind of city or district-wide program going? So I think this is a really great conversation to be having, and I just want to kind of echo the point that some of you mentioned, that these programs are by no means mutually exclusive. The name of our company is Integrated Avian Solutions because we often subcontract with companies that specialize in physical deterrence. There's a time and a place for all of these approaches. In fact, I feel like we should switch names, because what we actually provide is an eagle, a hawk, shield over a building or an area.
We had a bunch of people ask if we were doing a demonstration today, and I said, well, we're not that demonstration.
Well, so there may be a way that we can collaborate, and I think if what we're talking about is a comprehensive, enduring solution to this problem, that may be what needs to happen. And more of my annual income comes from pigeon trapping than I'd care to admit, and the falconry is very glamorous, but there's a lot of pigeon trapping. So I think we agree on a lot. You have to remove the local population. You have to prevent new birds from colonizing the area, whether it's with falconry or nets or some combination. There is a way to resolve this problem, and so we'll get a proposal to you, and we can try to narrow this in, and maybe we'll work together down the line. So.
Yeah, and maybe that could be some of the direction is working together. You said that you subcontract out with falconry, and maybe we could look at the line item that is trapping and see how that builds in together and go from there. Supervisor Poitras and then Supervisor Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to point out that on the agenda item submittal, you've got the different costs that are almost $280,000, and none of that includes trapping, right?
No, there is a trapping program that is included in that. It should be, I think it's on the page in regards to the main building. It is, and again, this is based off us being here. It's the pricing. I can't remember exactly the number, but it is based off of us already being here and doing the work. So it's almost included while we're here doing the work. There's trapping being included in that.
Right, that's what he said.
Because it shows the area government center costs $139,000, parking garage $67,000, et cetera, et cetera. So I guess what my thing is that, I mean, it's going to cost something that, would this be for 10 to 15 years? Because I can't believe that it's only going to cost $280,000 for the next 15 years. because you're going to have a certain element of every year trapping. Trapping costs money, it's labor, and it's to exterminate the birds. And so what would that fee be every year?
So the trapping is included. I think the reason why is the cost is when they did the government center, it includes all of the materials plus the trapping. So our trapping, I believe, is around $800 a month for trapping, and that's the comprehensive. But again, that's while we are here doing the work. That's the allotted time. So it's not necessarily that's $800 and that's going to go through the whole year, but it's while we are here doing the work, that's what we're guaranteeing is to trap and remove as many resident birds as we can get. And so our cost for that was $800 a month.
So it was 30 days to complete the installation would have been 30 days. So it would have been trapping for that month only.
For that month only?
Included in the price.
Correct.
Okay, so it's just for 1 month of trapping?
Correct.
What would the cost be thereafter for trapping? Simply because it's going to be part of the program, right?
Correct. So that's something that we would have to look at in terms of our pricing, and I'd hate to give you a price now and then go back and go, oh man, it would be a comprehensive plan to where we say we would come out once a week even, and this is the cost of it. So we don't have a comprehensive plan in terms of trapping all the time, and we can certainly get that to you. As to what that would be.
Well, I think that there's many people who thought that the trapping was included in the $280,000. I think that really wasn't clear.
Some of it is.
That it was.
Right.
It's only $800. Of the $280, it's only $800 that's trapping. The trapping ongoing is going to be an expense over and above that, and would be part of the formal proposal. Because if we vote to go forward with this thing, then you have to bring it back with a formal proposal.
I've already wrote it down. That's what I've got in my motion. I already have it down.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that we're not really comparing, I think there's some people, again, that were confused, thinking the trapping was involved there, and it's not. Only 1 month, $800.
Correct. So we're removing as many, and again, it's only part of our program, and the reason why is to remove those resident birds that we had talked about. And I think your trapping is going to go down, if any at all, once that happens, because you've started to remove all of their nesting sites, which is why you're excluding plus trapping. So trapping is just a small part of our program. And so that's why it's not something that we said, yeah, we're going to include it for the entirety of its time, but it is while we're here. It's just part of the program. So it's in terms of us coming out and just trapping and trapping and trapping, then you're talking about them still having nesting sites, them still having opportunities to live, to breed, to have, to hatch eggs, to do all of that. So then you're talking about a numerous amount of pigeons that will still be here because of that. So then your trapping numbers will go up in terms of how often, and there's all kinds of factors I think that would play into it. So the trapping is including what is going on during our I think it's actually 2 months of time that we would propose to be here.
And my point is that it's an additional cost to the $280,000.
No, sir, it's included for the 2 months.
2 months, but okay.
Yeah, sorry.
My point is that's not the only trapping that's going to take place for the next 10 years. Is that correct?
Correct, for that,
Okay.
for that conjunction.
And it's going to be additional cost on top of the 280.
If we do more trapping.
If you do more trapping, but again, our
And you're
whole,
saying there's not going to be more trapping necessary?
I can't guarantee that there won't, but at the same time, if you have to do any trap, the whole point of doing this comprehensive plan of exclusion is to eliminate that. So there would be no reason for us to even do the exclusion if all we did was trapping. That's just part of.
Okay.
And it's just like working in conjunction with the falconry and the hawks. Trapping and falconry only does a specific area as well. So you're not going to exterminate them from the whole area. Like we saw on the screen, the small area of a couple blocks that even the falconry was excluding of the crows. It would be the same exact thing with pigeons. So the idea is to trap, get the resident birds away, exclude the entire facility so they don't come back to this facility specifically, and possibly keep the falconry going for this area, this direct area, because there's still, even the falconry isn't going to detour them from this whole area. It's just going to be a few blocks in area.
Thank you.
You mind if I ask a question to?
And before that, is there anybody else from the public that wanted to make comment? Seeing none, I'm closing the public comment portion now. Go ahead.
Okay.
And then actually Supervisor Rodriguez had a comment. And then
We have to be careful, guys, because we're talking a lot of money. Now, you're talking 25,000 4 times a year, you're talking 100,000 there. the point is, we're not inventing the wheel here. Other communities are going through the same problem or have been enduring the same problem for many years. Some are successful, some are not successful, so we have to pick the ones that work for us here. Now, the first step, I would say they go with trapping and the laser to begin with. Now, instead of putting spikes all over the buildings and netting and all kinds of stuff, that's going to make this building look like hell, And I hate to say it that way, but that's what I mean. We have to be careful. We should take it one step at a time and see what works and doesn't work. Let's not get into a long-term contract and find out it doesn't work, and we have to be putting out more money, so that we get to the solution. So I think we should study this problem a little bit more. Like my friend over here says, we start with trapping, and then with a laser and see what happens. Yeah, we're only working with 2 buildings here, but it works here, we expand the area later on with the cooperation of the city and the county and some of the private residents that want to participate. That's the most sensible approach that I see, Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, kind of what I'm hearing is I love your guys' solution. I think it's important. It needs to be done, the whole deal. And you go and you see retail stores all over the place. You go to Dick's Sporting Goods, and over their sign is the net. You don't notice the net. You see these nets everywhere, every day,
Right.
and you never notice them.
You just don't notice them.
You never notice them. It's not gonna. It won't make it look like hell. But I don't see. I'm reading the tea leaves here, and because I don't want this to go away. So I think looking at some blending of the two, I think would probably be a good idea. I don't know if what Supervisor Wheeler's motion is going to sound like. I just don't want it to go away and have to wait another year. So I think we just need to be careful in how we make this decision right now, because it's too important, and we can't have all of this.
And Max, it's not another $100,000 a year. That's what we're eliminating right now if we do this.
No, but it's costing $100,000 if you count 20,000 every quarter.
No, that's what's costing us right now, $25,000 a quarter to clean them, Max. If we
Well,
do this,
Tom, that's not the point. The point, what I'm trying to make is, you got to be careful when you enter this contract.
Yeah.
Because what they're advocating is putting these traps, not the traps, but the netting,
And the
the
spikes.
spikes and all that kind of stuff. It works sometimes it doesn't work,
Well,
So I say be careful what you do.
I agree to
and then
be
take
careful.
one step at a time. If it works, fine, continue doing it. If it doesn't work, you eliminate it.
well, see, that's what he's talking about. When you trap the resident pigeons, then then they put the spikes in the nets, then there's no residents here, is what they're trying to say. So there's not going to be a whole bunch of trapping after that, because there's no place for them to stay here. That's what I'm trying to get. When you
We
trap
have to
them,
find out if that is true.
it is true. They do it all over that
Well,
way.
no, we
Max,
have-
have you ever read
let's see
any
if
of
it
this
works
work?
here.
Okay,
If it works here.
so I think are we, from what I'm hearing, I don't know if a motion is good. Should we?
Well, my motion, here's what I was going to make a motion. I
Some
was gonna
board
look in-
direction.
First of all, I want to look into enclosing the areas we can in the parking garage. I want to enclose that so we don't even have to worry about netting or anything. In those areas. So we still need the netting for the overall stuff. We just need to close those areas so they can't get in there at all. There's no reason for them to do that. And then
Okay,
I
so-
also want to give, huh?
Yeah, so that would be creating a whole nother
That's
RFP,
different.
right?
That's
I-
different from this.
Could we, maybe we can sit down with Adam, with Integrated, and here with Eagle Shield, and we can get the proposals for long-term trapping and see what those costs are, and we can bring an item back to you guys to help you make a decision.
Well, that's what I was going
Yeah,
to do, give us
yeah.
a price on long-term trapping. And I guarantee you, we're not going to need as much trapping because they haven't got residence areas to come here and stay. So we're going to help the whole city. When we get rid of a bunch of these here, it's not just helping us, it's helping the whole city, like Debbie was worried about that. And also, it's eliminating that, Max was worried about that $100,000. We're eliminating that $100,000. So we have to clean it once a year. That's 25. We still have $75,000 left to do what we wanted to for whatever we have to do with that money, so we're not be spending on every year on cleaning up the shit.
Tom, we spend approaching 100,000.
Now.
And we still have a bunch of dirty buildings.
We do now, Max, what,
Yeah.
we,
No,
you
but
gotta eliminate
I
that.
understand what you're saying, but the point is, all I say is take one step at a time.
Well, the first
One
step,
step
you gotta
at a time.
eliminate their home. That's the first thing you
Let's
gotta
try it. If
do.
it
You gotta
works out,
eliminate their home.
Let's find out if what you're saying is true.
It is true.
So would the board direction be to look at a multi-phased approach that includes trapping or falconry or some mixture of the
Right, yeah,
both?
I'd like to
And
do
then
both.
once they're gone, to exclude them from the rest of the building?
They're not gone forever, because if we don't do something with those spikes and nets and stuff, they will be back. I don't care if you use every falcon in the whole world. Every falcon here, every day, you have to have them here, because they're gonna keep coming back. And it don't eliminate them. That don't do nothing. The only way we're gonna eliminate them is eliminate their home and eliminate the place they can go rest and
Joel?
sleep.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Joel Bouquet, County Administrative Office. There's no other person that has a vested interest in not costing us long-term than the finance office. So could we make a suggestion?
Yes.
I think there's several moving factors here. There's the ongoing cost of cleaning that we expect to go down, not eliminated, but go down. There's the ongoing falconry project that the Downtown Association is working on. There's the trapping component, both on, that's included in the bid, and that we expect to get eliminated if we implement a permanent solution. So I think what might help the board is if we come back, lay all of these factors in, look at one-time cost, ongoing monthly costs, and different options. So, because if we go here, we're still going to be contributing to the Downtown Association. That's still going to be an ongoing cost. So that way, we bring everything at present value, and then look at all those factors, and then it will be option A and option B.
Okay, I make a motion to move this to a month away, and you guys work out those details, bring all those different scenarios to us, and we'll take it from there.
And I think through the Downtown Association,
We need a second.
looking at the pigeon solution as well, because those pigeons are everywhere, so while they're out doing the crows, doing the pigeons in the overall area, because right now, with the crows, we're a part of that downtown, he's already, I mean, he showed that he was doing it on our building anyway, right? So we look at, for that portion of it, figuring out how to strengthen that program to pigeons and crows within the downtown area, and then this exclusion that we need here.
Mr.
We need a second, so we can talk.
Max, are you good to second that? All right, we have a motion and a second. We've already gone out to the public. Roll call, please.
Was the second Supervisor Rogers?
Rodriguez.
Oh, Rodriguez. Call for the vote. Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
So I don't have an answer today, but we'll get one to you quickly.
No problem.
At least for the next month.
And thank you very much for your
Yes,
time.
thank you
Really
very much.
appreciate it. I'm sure it took longer than expected. So I'm
You
glad
can tell
we
how
took
much we
lunch.
hate pigeons.
Thank you.
Chairman,
you guys very much.
Chairman, you mentioned that we don't always agree on things in your opening address today, so good example.
Exactly. I think we'll, at the end of this, we'll get to a better solution.
Came to
or,
a consensus
more-
and
More
of sorts.
comprehensive.
Yeah.
All right. Got to get back to my.
We argue 5-0.
That's a good thing.
All right. 8D.
8D, Public Works
Thank you, Maria.
Department, Engineering Division. Introduction and discussion of an ordinance to establish a record of survey examination fee. Waive the reading and set the hearing for January 15, 2019.
Good afternoon, Chairman, members of the board, Jared Carter with Public Works and Scott Cross with County Council. The item here before you is an ordinance to put in place a fee for record of survey examination. We currently do have a fee in place, however, some circumstances have changed with the cost related to that, and also the process that we originally followed to put that fee in place needed to be changed and done by ordinance. So we're available for any questions if you have them.
What brought this up? I'm sorry. It's not working. Oh,
Supervisor Wheeler?
yeah. What brought this up to want to change this ordinance, and is it Is it making more money, less money, or what's the reasons?
Well, in terms of the cost, we did go back and look at the cost that we were, essentially what we're trying to do is cover the cost to provide the service. So under the Business and Professions Code, it authorizes a government agency to charge $100 for this fee, or a larger amount if there's a report that's presented to show that there's a cost associated with that service. And so what we presented here in the board items is that cost that we've figured out, which is approximately 500, let me see here, $513.87. And that is made up of the time that it takes for the acting county surveyor to do the review, as well as a small amount of staff time to process the record of survey when it comes into our office.
And we're only charging $100 now, you said?
Right now, our fee is $611, so this is down from that. Originally, the $611 fee was based on the hourly rate of the acting county surveyor that we previously had on the time. So it takes about approximately 3 hours of review time for these documents to be reviewed and approved by the county surveyor. And like I said, a small amount of time for staff to process.
So why are we changing ordinance to do that if we already have it?
So I don't believe we currently have an ordinance in place that has this. We have a fee structure, but I'll let Scott explain a little bit more in detail. But essentially, we're required on the business profession codes to actually adopt this fee by ordinance. I don't know if you want to add anything to that, Scott.
Sure. Yeah. Scott Cross, Deputy County Counsel. Chairman, Supervisors, yes, Jared's correct. The actual process in which to increase the fee above the $100 maximum that's set in the Business and Professions Code is by adopting an ordinance. Up to this point, the county has not had such an ordinance.
And we just added on without no ordinance backing it up.
It was done by resolution previously, which technically we need to do it by an ordinance, so that's why we're doing it here.
Now, our new surveyor that we've hired, we've never used, are we going to start doing that for some of the things that he will start doing?
Yes, that's correct. This is something that we are using. Actually, both the surveyors now, the acting county surveyor services we have with Wildan and Shaw. And in the backup, you'll see that there's the way that we calculated the cost. Essentially, we use an average of the hourly rate for both of those two firms, and then equate it or multiply that by the number of hours that they need to review it, and then also the small amount of staff time just to take that in and process it.
So people were already paying this, but it was just on our fee schedule. And so without actually doing this ordinance, all we could charge for reimbursement is $100. That's the limit without an ordinance, correct? So
Correct.
so we could only recoup 100, but it would still be costing the $587.
It was six.
Correct.
Well, that was what it was before, right?
It was $611. So the fee now would be $513.87.
That's where I got the
Yeah.
87.
Yeah.
So yeah, 530. So it actually comes down, but it actually covers the cost. Without an ordinance, we could only charge $100.
Correct.
Yep. That's almost what we were charging 15, 20 years ago. It was about 400. I'll move to approve.
I'll second, but
We go out to the public?
We
Yeah.
go out to the public.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
So-
wait, this is waive the reading and set the hearing for
Waive the
January
reading and set
15th.
the second hearing.
Yeah. So this is a public hearing, or, no, it's not, right? But anybody from the public wishing to come forward? Seeing none, I'll close to the public comment portion, and we have a motion and a second to waive the reading and set the hearing.
Call for the vote. Supervisor Rogers?
Yes.
Supervisor Wheeler?
Yes.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Yes.
Supervisor Poitras?
Yes.
Supervisor Frazier?
Yes.
Vote passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. 8E.
8E, Water and Natural Resources Department, Groundwater Sustainability Plan Update. 1, update on groundwater sustainability plan development of the Madera Subbasin, update on development of the Chowchilla Subbasin, and update on the development of the Delta Mendota Subbasin.
It's not working, microphone.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can.
Okay, Stephanie Agneson, Director of Water and Natural Resources. This is your monthly GSA meeting and update on progress we're making with the groundwater sustainability plans. First, I'd like to give you an update on the advisory committee. You'll recall that last year we talked about combining all three committees for the Madera, Chowchilla, and Delta Mendota subbasins into one committee. We met last week on January 3rd. We had 8 out of 13 members. We also had 3 alternates present, total of 31 people in the room, so it was pretty well attended. We're going to move to a slightly larger venue for next time we meet. We discussed allocations and de minimis users. De minimis users are the folks who are using less than 2 acre-feet per year, so generally people who live rurally and have their own wells. There was a fair amount of consensus in our discussion around the idea of 0.5 acre-feet per acre being distributed equally, equitably across the county GSAs, including both the irrigated and non-irrigated lands. So this is what we're calling the native groundwater, the water that's available naturally as a result of rainfall percolating and river and stream percolation. So that 0.5, in the opinion of the advisory committee, could be distributed equitably. We will come back with a recommendation from them, but I'm just advising you on the discussion. There was also consensus around general concerns for small water users who were more vulnerable in terms of their domestic wells going dry. The meeting went on for probably 2.5 hours, so well attended, good feedback from people. Seems like it worked well in the combined format. So moving to the Madera Subbasin, you received a letter from Gravelly Ford Water District GSA saying they were pursuing their own GSP. We also expect to receive one from Root Creek saying about the same thing. So we're looking at currently 4 groundwater sustainability plans in the Madera Subbasin. One which would take into account approximately 80% of the acreage. The county, the city, MID, and Madera Water District doing one as a combined plan, and then 3 other plans as well. We do have a key meeting in February. We're doing a conceptual workshop on undesirable results with self-help and with Leadership Council at the Senior Center, where we're providing a light dinner, and then we're going to have some technical material and then break into small groups. In the Chowchilla Subbasin, we had a giant meeting December 5th. That's a photo from the meeting. There were about 200 folks there. Lunch was provided. It was a rainy day, so it might have been part of the appeal, but 200 folks in Chowchilla were at that meeting where each GSA stood up and did a small presentation on their activities. We have an interbasin agreement signed with Merced and some more key meetings there. The March 27th, there will be the next workshop where we'll share modeling results. And then the Delta Mendota Subbasin, this is where the county has a much smaller acreage of only about 1,000 acres. They have executed all the coordination and cost-sharing agreements, which sounds like a small thing, but there are 23 parties involved, so it's a big activity. It took over a year. The Delta Mendota technical experts are working on historic and current water budgets, and they're planning another workshop in February. A couple modifications on the calendar. I know you may have constituents asking when the plan is coming out, so there's 3 plans at least. For the Madera Subbasin, we're releasing chapters piecemeal, with chapters 1 and 2 coming out in April. In the Chowchilla Subbasin, we're waiting until the plan is finalized and releasing the whole thing in July and August. Both plans will go into a 90-day public review period at that point. But as you all know, the plans are due at the end of January 2020, so we're about a year away from that. So in terms of current and future activities, I did talk briefly in December about a groundwater pumpers group. We're still exploring different structures for this, but this would give folks who live in the county, who have domestic wells, a way to receive educational materials, a way to network about good providers, and work on solutions. We also are starting a county GSA newsletter, an e-newsletter that will go out monthly. And we started an event calendar. This is to counter people asking, which meeting should I go to? Where is this meeting? So on MaderaCountyWater.com, there's an event calendar where we'll post all the meetings that were noticed about in the subbasin. There's also the potential with the GSAs to issue an RFQ for a rate study and a property fee-based assessment based on properties. I know that you've also given direction in terms of flood control and an RFQ from numerous workshops and presentations from Public Works last year. So just to make you aware, there are these two potential RFQs and potential property fees out there. And they're related, but they are different. The way I think of it is that flood control is about harnessing the water, keeping it within the channels. And then the GSA is about recharge projects. So they're separate, and we can't combine them in one rate study, unfortunately, because they're surface and groundwater and slightly different groups of constituents. They're separate, but both equally important. So this concludes my update. I'd be glad to take your questions.
Are there any I see Tom. Were you trying to
Yeah.
book it earlier?
It's not
Supervisor
working.
Poitras and then Supervisor Wheeler.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have a question. I noticed in the Madera Basin, there's 4 GSPs being proposed. Now, what does that have to look like to the state? Do we try to put together one out of the 4, or are 4 of these presented?
That's a good question. So literally 4 plans will be written and presented. The key from getting them accepted by the state is that they need to have a coordination agreement signed, and they need to use the same data. So you're basically agreeing on the numbers you're using. You're not getting to use your own numbers.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Supervisor Wheeler.
That's really important. I just want to tell you, you're doing such a great job on this. I can't believe.
Oh, thank you.
I wish those other couple wouldn't have pulled out. I don't know why they're doing this, but who knows? But I think in the long run, we'll probably end up all together anyway. So we've taken such big steps here this last 6 months or so, and our water plans that we have to have done. And I think we're going to meet those deadlines easily. And when it gets down to how we're going to divvy up this water that we do have, this is going to be our guideline. One of the things that Mac and I have tried to do a lot of times is make sure that everybody pays their fair share, whether it's a farmer or residential. So, and we're going to have that with this here. So thank you. And now you got Jeannie on your team. I think we've got a powerful team to move forward and have all these different groups agree to work with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Yeah, I figured. Go ahead, David.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's important that you've done a great job of keeping the conversation going, and that everybody's inputting and knows where we're going. And I think it's important that we continue to develop potential projects and solutions, not just to say we have a sustainable yield and that's what we have to live by. I think Madera farmers and the people associated with this situation recognize that our tenacity and our togetherness on developing solutions that'll bring in more water into the county, and there is that potential. We keep pointing, some people will say there is no potential for more water, and what they haven't done is looked beyond the problem to the solutions that are out there. And I'm talking about the watershed itself, which we are getting heavily involved in. One of the big pushes, the focuses of RCRC right now is the watershed itself. Every supervisor at RCRC out of 35 counties recognize that the potential for the growth in available water is immense if we just look to the forest from whence it came. And 60% of California's water comes from the Sierra Nevada. if you can increase that potential by 10% or 5%, that's a lot more water. It's huge, but studies show that you can even do more. Then we have the San Joaquin River, where the water flows out to the ocean at an annual rate of 500,000 acre feet. Capturing more of that water means more water in our ground, means more available water to our farmers. We've seen that through Triangle T, who recharged 60,000 acre feet in 2017, an amazing feat on 600 acres. That can be done over and over and over again in our county. So these are the kind of solutions and the kind of innovative, positive things that we can look to change our numbers in a way that is unspeakable. I mean, it's just unbelievable, and we don't have to just settle. We can change our own future, and that's so important.
I agree. I echo all the comments, and here you're doing a fantastic job. And what I do like about what you generally are bringing solutions to, or this is what's working elsewhere, this is what is being tried elsewhere, and not just saying, okay, we're at 0.5 and that, yeah, just throw up your hands and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's, we can't do that. That's unsustainable for our economy.
Absolutely.
Completely unsustainable. So I appreciate the efforts that you're doing, and this will be the last time you'll ever be last on the agenda. Because, you never know. You think that pigeons isn't going to take 2 hours, and it does. By the time water gets around, this is the most important thing to us.
we all have.
And everybody is drooping, and so, yeah. And I wasn't able to get that last bit of coffee. But yeah, so this will be the last time you're ever last on the agenda.
I think it's just alphabetical. I don't take it personally.
Yeah, Hardy, well done.
Thank
Well
you.
done.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any pending legislation?
Don't see none.
Nope. Government shutdown helps with that. Supervisors and staff reports. We'll start tomorrow, right?
Last Friday, Red Otto Gardner, Marcella's boyfriend, I guess, he reached the age of 100 years.
Wow.
100 years.
100 years old.
And he and Marcella went to dances all the time. I mean, that's how she met him. And they loved to dance. Anyway, they had a celebration, his birthday. They had about 100 people at the golf course.
Wow.
And they had a music, had a guitarist there. Tommy would have loved it. He played nothing but Western music.
Oh, wow.
He was
Why don't you
great.
tell me? I've been there dancing, man. I tell you.
And it was a beautiful event. It went from 5 to 10.
Wow.
And there's a lot of people out there dancing. And they had a
Cool.
beautiful time. Yeah, the food is great. And he was very happy.
Right.
Yeah. That's it.
Thank you for going on our behalf, Mac. Appreciate that. Supervisor Rogers?
Nothing to report.
Supervisor Wheeler?
I just wanted to thank our staff. I mean, Phil Toller and Jared Carter, they called me one day, and because we've been getting a lot of emails from a couple people up there, one in Cascadel, one on Teaford, one of them about how we put culverts in the county, which we don't really put them in. It's developers and what have you. But anyway, they called me and said, wanted to know if I had any time. I said, yeah. So I met them over there, and our guys were right. And I just wanted to thank them for bringing me out. And then they went up and looked at another thing up at Cascadel where some trees were on our property that were leaning towards his house. And that same day, that guy emailed me and said, hey, Tom, I don't know what you did, but they just took the trees out. So our staff, and I gave my speech, they mean so much to us, what they do and how good they do and get on top of it. I can't thank them enough. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, that's just two of them, but I want to thank all of our staff for what they do for us. So, in our
That's a
citizens
fact.
in Madera County. So that was such a neat day. I just had to talk about how they did.
Yeah.
So,
You're right, Tom.
Adrian?
No reports.
Regina?
No report, Chairman.
Rhonda?
Chairman, I'd like to thank Supervisor Wheeler for a fantastic 2018 and the opportunity to work more directly with you. That's my only opportunity when you're all chairman, to have that direct relationship. Never a dull moment. And so I appreciate
Can't
everything
have
that you
no
did.
moments.
And Supervisor Frazier, I'm delighted and excited to be able to serve you this year and to develop a more close working relationship with you and Melissa. So great years ahead. Thank you.
Chairman, if I may, if you could circle back, pardon me. When the board approved the board schedule calendar for the year, that was about 2 meetings ago, in our ordinance, part of the way that we can have a our ordinance says we have meetings every fourth Tuesday of the month, or every 4 Tuesdays of the month. And the calendar is actually 3 Tuesdays, the first 3 Tuesdays of each month this year. The board approved that. And then also we're going to have meetings on the Tuesday following a holiday, and there's 4 holidays this year. Our ordinance says that that can happen under a declaration of the chairman. And 2 meetings ago, that was approved by the board, but I just thought I would highlight it since we have a new chairman and it's a new calendar for 2019, that it's so declared by this chairman, if that's your pleasure.
I declare it.
Thank you.
I second it.
Yeah. And I'd actually like to, at some other time, bring that back to look at, having talked to a lot of the department heads about the way it's being set up now, maybe bring it back, but we could talk about that another time.
Absolutely.
All right, and I just want to thank you all for your vote of confidence in me and allowing me to be the chairman for this year. I won't let you down. Thank you.
Said I do declare. It was the rotation.
Yeah, that's,